Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back to the ArchCast once more with today's guest, Renee.
Oh, thank you for having me once again.
You've been on the ArchCast once previously when we talked about your comic, Fiendish, which I have now been able to read, and it's really, really good.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really glad you liked it. That's my fantasy mystery comic. I'm just hustling away on that. But yeah, I'm really glad you like it. Oh, thank you for pulling it up. Yes. If you want to check it out, fiendishcomic.com. Yay, if you like fantasy and uh mystery, demon hunting, all that kind of stuff. I decided to do the thing that everyone says not to do for your first major comic project. I mean, this is not my first comic project. I've been doing comics for a couple of decades at this point. Oh dear, I'm old. But yeah, they tell you don't do an epic long form fantasy. But I decided to say screw it. I'm gonna do what I want. So that's what this project is. So there you go.
Hello.
Hello.
I've seen your art popping across my timeline lately. I'm just like, man, I wonder if she has commissions open.
Oh, thank you. Hello. Nice to meet you, Lumi.
Nice to
I
meet
am
you
currently
too.
swamped with commissions, but they will be open again soon.
Oh hell yeah, definitely let me know because I need my character in your art style because god damn, it's so good.
Oh, thank you. I'd be happy to do that. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know. Thank you.
It is a very nice art style. It's got a little bit of the East and a little bit of the West at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. I'm actually from Taiwan, but I am half American, and now I live in the States. So I kind of just this just naturally happens. I grew up on manga, but then I went to art school in the U.S. So I like having a kind of in between East and West style. It's what I hope it's a little unique. I hope it helps my comics stand out.
This will also make Renee a wonderful guest today for storytelling purposes, as we have, of course, seen quite a lot of changes, sort of, in the mainstream comic book landscape, and yet the more things change, the more they stay the same, with now another wave of dark superheroes, including Thirst Trap Superman.
Dear. Yeah, everything in comics is just crazy now, isn't it? Everything has to be dark.
I think the dark trend should have ended about like 10 years ago at this point because now everything has to be dark, gritty, and edgy, and I'm just like, can we go back now, please?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I think the dark trend is a unholy merger of just people who don't understand heroic storytelling and people who saw works like Watchmen and to some extent Invincible, I guess, and darker, more quote unquote mature superhero stories, and they want to emulate that success. And they probably think stories that are like traditional Superman is boring, but that's not true at all. There's certainly value to traditional superhero stories.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. There was a quote from someone, like one of the big creators, saying like Superman is boring. And that kind of made sense like 15 years ago, but now, if you wanted to be edgy, you'd actually make Superman be Superman.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also just not true. Superman is boring if you don't know how to write a wholesome heroic character, an aspirational hero, that's the word. Because Superman is not I think it really is just writers who don't understand the character. Superman's struggle is sure he is massively powerful, but his struggle is always moral, is the restraint of power, and that is something aspirational, and I don't think these people understand that.
Yeah, but another thing that I believe also kind of killed off a lot of it is now the mainstream media's strive to kill like what are they saying now? Like heteronormative, like all American values and all that. They want to kill what Superman originally was. At least in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that too. It's multiple layers of it. It's yeah, there's a lot of subversion, obviously. The whole do away with the old and in with the new, which they blatantly said in Star Wars, let the past die. And I think there's also this idea that, well, it's either progress or stagnation, except I don't think a lot of these people are thinking about what are you progressing into. It's there is value to traditional stories, and you can continue to innovate based on established techniques. Stories at its basis don't change that much. There are certain things that since time immemorial people find aspirational in heroes, in stories, and the reason that a lot of these companies are losing money and Star Wars is doing terribly is because they've lost touch with that. They want to do it with the old and innovate, but they're basically innovating off of a cliff.
That is absolutely true. I mean, the DC cinematic universe, which has been an unmitigated disaster, it's the biggest thing losing Warner Bros. Discovery money right now, as they just cannot produce a movie that anyone wants to watch, despite having some of the most recognizable characters in the world on the roster, like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
It's like they want to focus.
Expect?
Oh, go ahead. You go first.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, what do they expect? That's all. I mean, duh.
Yeah, and it's like they have so many different superheroes and villains that they can use, but they just want to focus on like the big 10. They don't want to, divert onto, hey, look at this person is interesting. Why don't we build off the small base that was built like 30 years ago? You can make interesting stories from that, but people want to play it safe. They want to keep the recognizable names.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the fact that they want to play it safe, but they also want to play it edgy at the same time, which is why it's always Batman or Superman getting remastered and so on. Because they could take up a lot of the older ones, and one of the more actually successful franchises settings were like the Justice League Unlimited, where they added in loads of little B and C list characters that people could get a look at. But, of course, those were animated series produced almost exclusively for Cartoon Network, which nobody watches anymore, and I think had to, close their offices recently?
I believe so, yes.
If they'd produced that in the style of, Amazon Prime or, some major streaming series, it would probably have done reasonably well, but as a Cartoon Network exclusive, you're already creating a very small market for yourself, and then you're creating an even smaller market by trying to, appeal almost more to adults than children. Children are going to look at that and go, who the fuck is Black Canary? And the rest of us are like, oh, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, they go for the well-known characters because their goal is subversion. It's to change our cultural mythology, which is what Star Wars and superheroes are for in definitely America and I think in general in the West. So they want to go for the more well-known characters and change them and make them not aspirational, and it's quite insidious, really.
Okay, I found a good picture here. So, since I just realized, surrounded by females today, terrible, I've got to bring up the thirst trap one. So I'll put a picture up here. So on the right, there's the new Superman. So, thirst trap? Yes? No?
He looks like a homeless man that found the suit in the garbage. That's not a thirst trap, that's a homeless man.
That's not a thirst. I mean, I just don't understand.
The original one is a thirst trap more than he is. What?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's not ugly. I mean, it's not like what they did to Thor, making him, just super out of
Fat
shape.
Thor. God,
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, he just looks unkempt though.
but what's the best comparison that I could? Okay, he looks like 26-year-old Ezra Miller who happens to be Mexican and unshaven.
Ezra Miller's a lot uglier than that.
No,
Superman has
but
always
the Mexican
been
would give him the
attractive.
Mexican buff, so it's okay. He'd be a little more attractive.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see. That does make sense. Man, that's just not Superman as well. But I think that's the point. They want to change him to be all both a thirst trap and to be dark. I mean, Superman has always been attractive and handsome, but the point is he's clean cut. He's a paragon.
Well, the target audience here, of course, disagrees, as now Superman is a sex symbol. He is, in fact, an updated version of peak male sexuality, because the older one was just outdated, you see.
The other one, the old one, the original one's fucking hot. This one, no. He looks like a druggie.
Well, according to Screen Rant, an unkept, brooding hero with hair falling in his eyes is the very stuff that fanfiction is made of.
Maybe we need to get childless cat ladies who dream of a brooding, unkempt man or who write fanfics out of our media.
It's like,
this is
okay.
just fanfics.
During my cringy teen days, did I also write fan fictions for various fandoms? Yes. But dear fucking God, they are trying to cater to lesbians who think about men who are like, oh, I don't want to touch one, but that would be hot. No, they're catering to fat lesbians at that point.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff seems like fanfic. They're letting people who are fanfic writers write the actual products and the actual mainline stories. And maybe that's a problem. I don't know. Seems like it is.
Well, amusingly, we saw this with The Acolyte recently, where The Acolyte was a absolute trash television show. Not even the mainstream media could defend it. And then they had the shirtless Sith, and suddenly they're writing articles like, oh, this is what Star Wars needed. This is a deep and a philosophical take on the Sith. Like, he's naked. How philosophical is this? And it all revolves around the idea of the sexy bad boy as the fetishization of evil for evil's sake. Like, it genuinely feels like it isn't the fact that the guy is particularly attractive. Like, he's a fit man, no doubt about it, but it's more the connotations of being, well, evil that apparently makes him attractive in the eyes of modern writers.
Yeah, isn't that strange? Everything has to... I mean, I understand that not every story needs to be very reductionist in the way where there's good and evil and there's no question about it. It is interesting to explore a certain gray area in storytelling, but it seems like there's a cultural trend which includes making superheroes dark, and how Star Wars has kind of leaned towards, well, the dark side is actually right. I mean, it's not just exploring a gray area. These aren't just anti-heroes. It's straight up embracing what traditionally has been seen as this is villainous, and it's quite selfish, but they're glorifying it, and it just seems like it's more subversion.
Funny you should mention Darkseid, by the way, because the new absolute version of the characters were created by Darkseid somehow.
Oh. What the fuck?
I don't know how, but that is the official storyline from the writers, that they were created by
Cool.
And see, that's actually kind of a perfect analogy, because we talked about this briefly before we started, but one of the standout things about these three characters is that none of them have a family anymore. Bruce Wayne doesn't have his wealth. He doesn't even have Alfred anymore. Alfred's not, with Bruce. His parents are still dead. He doesn't have his fortune. Clark Kent grew up without the Kent, so I don't know who he is now, just Kal-El, I guess. And Wonder Woman was raised in hell, apparently. That's why she rides literally Death, the Dark Horse.
I think in a sense of just exploring theoreticals, is that we had the Russian Superman story way back when. I understand exploring theoreticals in alternate universes. This is a very common thing in American comics. But when you notice trends of this being done over and over again, I think that's where I start looking at it askance and thinking, well, is this just you're exploring one alternate universe, or is this a large-scale project to just make all superheroes not aspirational anymore and dark and just completely different than what they're supposed to be? And I think that not having a family thing is really strange. I mean, in a one-off, sure, but if it's all of the characters, it just seems like what is the message? What are they fighting for? It's like they're taking away what forms a person and what grounds them, and they don't want to reflect that in our cultural stories.
I'm just looking at how much, at least the absolute Superman is going for. Look at these prices.
Let's see here. Holy I
want all of these to be hardcover copies.
Superman cover pack pre-order. Let's see. Is there $60?
Well, yeah. That's a lot. Well, all right. I hope their investment pays off. The designs don't look bad. I was mentioning that before the show as well. I actually like these designs. It seems, I don't know. It just seems very strange, especially for Superman. Doesn't fit the character.
Well, there's the thing, right? Because you mentioned Red Sun, right? And Red Sun is an interesting example of this, because that's like communist Superman. Red Sun is actually a very interesting take on Superman, because he's still more Clark Kent. He isn't doing this because he is evil or anything. He's raised in an environment where socialism can function because it has a goddamn Superman to let it function. And he is raised within the political machinery and so on. So he has a different mindset, but at the end of the day, he's still a good guy. But he views the world differently. He views it more authoritarian, because that's the way he was raised. He views it more along the lines of, if we can create, we have to create the utopia, and to create the utopia, we have to create firm boundaries and frameworks. And if only everyone would just agree with this, finally socialism could work. So, and in the end, he even realizes the error of his way as he sees the cost of it all and changes his ways. It's surprisingly a faithful adaptation of Superman as a character. At least a lot more faithful than most of the stuff we've seen.
Yeah, those are very good points. I think Superman in Red Sun was, at its core, still Superman. They didn't change the core of the character, is why it worked. Because he is still an aspirational person who is trying to do good. He's willing to sacrifice himself for his society and for his ideals, and he's trying to do the right thing. He was just raised in a different environment. So they changed the dressing of the character, but the core is the same. I don't think I see the same thing happening with Absolute. That's why I don't think it's going to work out well.
Well, because and there's the little tagline that Lumi found reads: without the fortress, without family, without a home, what's left is the absolute Man of Steel. Is it? what is left then? So if you take away the Fortress of Solitude, which is his link to Krypton, if you take away his family, the Kents, which is his humanity, and if you take away his home, Metropolis and Lois Lane, etc., what is actually left?
Yeah, I'm not sure they can keep the core of the character because, like I mentioned, what is he fighting for? It's not Superman has an ideal. He has, or he has an ideal that he believes in, and that is derived from his family and his background, and things that he wants to protect. And they're taking that away from him. So, why wouldn't they? Whatever this character is, it seems like it's a different character, and they should just create a new character entirely. But instead of doing that, they have opted to change a well-known, established cultural icon.
Well, actually, chat brings up the point I was going to raise there. The only thing that is left at that point is, well, power. It's him being Superman. It's his superpowers. That's the only thing that remains of the character. And I don't know how they'll write him. Like, they'll probably, I doubt they'll have the balls to go through with what really would happen, because a Superman without any link to the past, without any family, without any raising, without any attachments, I mean, surely he would just be a dictator at best, or a wild beast at worst, because he's not going to have any motivation to do anything with his powers. So all that is left is just raw force, which he will wield for what reasons?
Yeah. I could, you know what, I will be charitable, and I could say this could work, and it could be an interesting Superman story if they started him with, well, I don't know, like, without a Fortress of Solitude. That's just insane. Like, you don't even have that link to his past. But if they started out with him not having a family and not having Fortress of Solitude and no home, no link to anything is grounding him, but the story is about him finding that. That would actually be very interesting. I don't think they're going to do that, though. But that could work.
Potentially, but then I am immediately going to bring up another example. So I don't know if you've heard about this one, but Hancock.
Oh, Hancock.
I have not seen this, no.
This was such an enormous disappointment, because Hancock, during the height of Will Smith's fame, when everything he was in touched to gold, the idea here was kind of this Superman. It was a superhero who didn't have a family, he didn't have a cool backstory, he didn't come from space or anything. He knew nothing, he had no connection to anything. He was a bum superhero who intervened in high-speed chase while shit-faced drunk, ruining half the city and stuff. And it was kind of an interesting comedy idea. Like, how does the world handle a bum superhero? But then they did exactly what you kind of mentioned. They tried to tie him up to a family, and they did it in the worst way imaginable. Because suddenly there's a woman who has the same superpowers as him, except she's better in every way. His connection to the past is all defined by her. She becomes the central character of the story, and Hancock becomes an ancillary to her. Now, back then, that was somewhat novel in 2008. Today, I can absolutely see them doing that. Coming up with either a Lois Lane character or an unrelated, very progressive probably character, who then defines Superman by enforcing their morality and their connections upon Superman.
It's like I did enjoy the first half of the movie myself, and then it kind of fell off.
Everybody did. Everybody was like, oh, bum superhero. Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, in 2008. That's how long ago it was? My God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm old. Yeah. Well, I don't see them. First of all, if they transplanted that same story onto Superman, it wouldn't be innovative nowadays, like you said. But also, do you really think they would let Superman take the lead in his story? It would be something similar. It would be someone else is better than him and is showing him how to be how to be better, and it probably is. It would be Lois Lane or something.
Well, see, that sounds retarded. If it weren't for the fact that just yesterday I finished watching The Caped Crusader, the new Batman show, and that is exactly what they do. He is a side character to Barbara Gordon and Montoya.
Yeah, I say this because it's a trend. It's a trend. It's not a one-off where we're just exploring different, like a side story. It's an ongoing thing. They did the same thing with The Witcher, and I love The Witcher, but The Witcher wasn't about The Witcher. It's about the women.
Yeah.
It can't have guys just be the stars of their own stories anymore.
And it's like, okay, with putting female characters in the front and center, people get mad either way with either naming a show after the main superhero and having it be focused on women, but then others will be like, why is a man writing women? Why can't it be a woman writing women? This is terrible. I'm like, please pick a struggle here.
Oh, they'll never be happy.
Nope.
Because they also don't have the balls to actually do the story. Like, okay, so there's a lesbian love triangle, because of course, but it's set in the 1940s, and they've got a date at a restaurant. Harleen Quinzel and Renee Montoya is at a restaurant having a date. Now, in the 1940s, you would expect the actual restaurant personnel to go up like, hello, Mrs. Are you out without a companion? Like, what are you doing here? This is very weird. But they don't do that. They don't actually follow up on what they could have done. Like, the very fact that Police Commissioner Gordon is black in 1940s America. I feel like he couldn't enter the police station without somebody pulling a gun on him at that point. And they ignore all of that. It's not even mentioned. It's like they want their modernity, and they want to, like, impose it upon the noir style, but they don't want to actually engage with any of the implications of it.
Yeah. It seems like they just wrote time periods on a dartboard, threw a dart and said, perfect, that's it, 40s, and not change anything that they already wrote down.
And there's also no verisimilitude, because it's like all those, I don't play video games, but the whole Yasuke controversy, and similar issues where they don't portray the period or the culture correctly, and they ask you to be immersed, but they don't do anything to help that immersion. They're more focused on a certain message and essentially changing history to fit their own wishes of what it should have been, except it wasn't like that. It just wasn't.
Yeah, and I saw a thing on Twitter the other day. Some guy was mocking the old Star Wars movies, the original trilogy. Like, if they were released today, this is what the culture critics would say. And they go like, oh, Luke wouldn't know how to fly the TIE fighter because he only flew like little crop dusters and so on. And here's the thing. A lot of these arguments could absolutely be made about previous stuff. You could make the argument, okay, Luke doesn't have training to fly this, he probably wouldn't be the best guy to do it, so and so. Two old people fighting with lightsabers really slowly, it's kind of boring. But those movies had something that modern day entertainment don't have. Immersion. It wasn't two old dudes, it was Luke's mentor, this ancient, mysterious Jedi warrior, fighting against this other equally mysterious Dark Knight character, whose powers we don't even understand, we just know that everybody's scared of him. That managed to pull you into the story to the point where you managed to, sign that suspension of disbelief, and you were in the story. Whereas today, there is so much current year that you never give the creation the benefit of that doubt because it's never worthy of the benefit of that doubt.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's not so much about realism. I think people confuse realism with believability, which are different things. If a certain what's important in storytelling is whether an occurrence or a character's actions or their development and their skill level, etc., are believable within the context and what you've established within the world, and also all the other aspects surrounding that. For example, what culture this takes place in, the time period that it takes place in, whether or not it's historically accurate, or whether if it's a fantasy world, what you've established this world is like, and all the power levels and so on and so forth. And I think a lot of people are just, again, they're more focused on their message, or modern writers, they're more focused on their message nowadays, instead of establishing believability and actually entertaining the audience.
Yep, I can absolutely see that.
I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. But also when it comes to like older movies and stuff, people wanted good entertainment to watch. They wanted a good story. They wanted something that they can forget, everyday struggles in life and just, immerse themselves into a fantasy world. Now it's all about, okay, what checkboxes can we put in? I don't give a shit about the story. I now want these characters to be every shade of brown possible, even if it doesn't make sense. It's like the art of storytelling is fucking dead, and it's a crying shame. And people who do write good stories will hardly ever see the spotlight.
Yeah, and I think it's a disservice to storytelling, and honestly a disservice to these writers and a lot of modern entertainers. They claim to care about representation and so on and so forth. But I think what they end up doing is doing a disservice to everyone they're trying to represent, because they just do it badly, because they're putting the agenda before actually writing a story and world building and believability and all that. And this issue stems from this very anti-meritocratic system that's taken over entertainment in the West, which I have seen up close because I work in entertainment. And it's about you hire people based on, well, will this look good? Do they fit quotas? And that is very true. That is absolutely 100% what a lot of companies do, especially Hollywood does that nowadays. And that results in you not hiring the best people and people who are more interested in agendas. And they end up doing a disservice to representation. For example, it is not impossible to have female main characters or female action heroes. I will bring up all the classic female heroes that people like, right? Like Aliens and Terminator. It can work, but you have to know how to make it work. And when someone is more focused on activism than just writing an entertaining story and the human aspect, then they end up creating this false image, this almost illusion that, well, female characters just can't work because when they do it, it's bad. The issue isn't that female main characters or, for example, or any sort of minority lead can't work in a story. It's just like the writing sucks.
Absolutely. And it comes from that very much so that need to fill the quota style thing as well. One of the interesting little things with the whole having no family part of the new absolute characters is the lack of attachment to them. Now, this also means that there's no grounding in it. Ideally, this could be an interesting way to introduce new characters, because this is always what we say, they need to do new characters. If they want to do this, they actually need to add something new. In an ideal world, you could kind of then argue that, right, Batman is too goddamn old. He's been around for nearly, 100 years or something now? Time to get rid of Batman. So how do we do this? Well, something like what they tried to do in Star Wars, where they tried to introduce the cardboard box that speaks to replace Luke. Didn't work out very well. But if you do Batman, set him up as kind of a different Batman, just use him to kind of introduce new characters and build off them, and eventually hand over the series to somebody else in an absolute universe, you could kind of do an old legacy mentor character passing the cape style thing, which, again, in theory, I'm not actually opposed to it, but the problem is I think we're going to end up with the Blade scenario, where they're trying to make a Blade movie now, and they're trying to make it about Blade's daughter, and they just can't come up with a character good enough where even they, the progressives, think like, oh yeah, people are gonna hate this character. Shit. We need to rewrite the movie again.
Yeah?
Quality characters are sadly few and far between.
Yeah, I mean, this wouldn't be a problem if talented writers do exist out there. It honestly seems like they're doing everything they can to not hire talented people. And it's sad. It's sad, and that's why manga is massively outselling American comics, and foreign entertainment is 100 times better than anything we're creating over here.
Oh yeah. Like, that's one of the big things too, because mangas end. Even the retarded ones, like Naruto, etc., have endings to characters. Like Demon Slayer ends, My Hero Academia ends. There's new things. There are actually arcs to these sagas. Whereas Batman has been around since the goddamn 20s or something.
Yeah. I didn't grow up with superhero stories, so to me it also just seems very weird that American superhero stories just go on forever. It almost becomes a franchise, and I think that's also that essentially has an effect of watering down the character just because you have to do so many different versions of the character, and it kind of exhausts the stories you can tell with the character at some point, I think. But I don't know. I wouldn't say that means the characters need to be done away with. I think it strikes me as strange, but a good writer should be able to treat long-running characters like Batman and Superman as this is one arc, and they can set out to make a good self-contained story with this character, and that could still be something good. But the point is that arc needs to end, and stories kind of lose their meaning if there is no solid ending and there is no actual resolution. Because a story is, think of it like an essay. It's not about. It's not. Stories are about expressing a message, so to say, kind of stumbling for words, but not in a lecturing way. There is an argument that you're trying to make with this character, and there is usually a moral conundrum, and the story is about solving this problem and resolving a conflict. And if there is no ending, then what is your story is about? What is the message? So I do think stories that go on forever and ever have this effect of watering down what is the message of this character. Anime and manga doesn't have that problem.
It also opens up the field for new creators. Like that's a very big difference. Because in manga, you do have very established authors that have created like long-standing lines of hits, but there's also new things by new people. Whereas in the West, if you're an independent comic creator, you have no Shonen Jump or anything to turn to. You've got to create the whole product from yourself, beginning at the bottom of the internet and trying to be discovered amongst the other 5 million people. Like, the most democratic way to reach out to people in the West would be, I don't know, webcomics, I guess?
Tell me about it. That's exactly what I was complaining to my friends about just the other day on my weekly show. We're kind of just like we just get the short end of the stick over in the West as independent comic creators because, like you said, there is no established system or infrastructure, so to say, to get your work out there. And sure, the internet is vast and there's a huge audience that you can reach, but there's also just you have to stand out amongst a huge mass of creators, and there is no way to get your work out in front of dedicated comic creators, right? You have to find your own audience. Comic stores don't carry, well, you can individually go to comic stores and say, well, hello, I'm a local creator, carry my comic, but getting into diamond, so to say, they don't look twice at you if you're in the indies. But Japan and even Europe, their entire industry is built around looking for new ideas and bringing individual creators' original ideas to life and putting them in stores. And it's just really sad that in America, it seems completely backwards, or it seems almost very stagnant. The entertainment infrastructure wants to only tackle what's proven and what's safe, and they're in its current state absolutely terrified of trying anything new. They pay a lot of lip service to saying, well, we want to innovate and we're being progressive, but in actuality they're not. They're afraid of actually trying out new ideas, and my fear is that a whole generation of really talented writers and creators are being lost in this stagnation.
Oh, absolutely. Because, again, like, the internet is huge, sure, but getting noticed on the internet is not easy. Especially considering the competition as well. I talked about this whilst I was doing a video on Scott Pilgrim, which I fucking hated, by the way, a while ago, where the original webcomics was one of the first ways to get, like, a name on the internet. That was one of the first things, the internet professions that everybody wanted to be. And the original webcomics were these incredibly crudely drawn things made by people who didn't really know what they were doing. There's like, I've got an idea, I want to make a comic. And it was very easy to get into. A lot of people started doing it, and there were some real gems and some real turds, of course. And this creative scene was later on basically eradicated by people who went to art school. It's like, oh, I'm going to learn how to draw before I start making my webcomic. And so today you have webcomics with a degree of artistry in them that is frankly ridiculous, that makes a mockery of a lot of the actual mainstream publications, frankly. And now suddenly, if you want to stand out, you don't need just a good story or a good idea. You need professional artwork created by a team of half a dozen people, or dedicate about, 6 hours a day for yourself to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, as an artist myself, I'm not opposed to having quality art out there, but I do see the point in that it's hard to stand out. And there are, for example, my head is full of manga and anime, so... For example, One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100 started out as webcomics, and they were terribly drawn. The original creator could not draw at all, but it was funny. The story is what was engaging. But I don't know if that kind of work would even stand out and get this big in the West, because how do you make an impact? Where do you put it where people would even look at it?
Yeah, and it's like with like Webtoon and other more like larger platforms that are in the West are extremely predatory from what I've heard. They take like large cuts of money and everything from what creators earn. I think it's like what, 40%? I don't know, it's insane.
Yeah, with just the cut that platforms take. I don't know about Webtoons. I don't use Webtoons because they're very it doesn't fit what I do at all. I think they're too censorious for me. But with one of the platforms that I do really like, that I do have Fiendish out on. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. But it was funny. It was so badly drawn, but it was funny. I have Fiendish on a platform called Global Comics, which is quite good, but it's just a travesty that they don't have that many eyes on it. The largest platforms are Webtoons, but Webtoons also has a certain type of comic that does well on it. If you're drawing something that's more high detail and higher panel count, anything that's not meant to be read on a phone, it kind of doesn't fit. And also, they're really censorious. I don't like it. There's a bunch of weird, fishy things in their creator agreements that I also don't like. And yeah, you're right. There is a lot of predatory stuff out there. A lot of financial burden that you have to take on up front to even get a comic produced. And a comic is on the lower end of a visual medium, that it's, as in the cost-wise and effort-wise, it's so much easier than making a game or a movie, and it's still so hard. So it's how does anyone who is a new creator that has a new idea get their ideas out there? I guess the only way is essentially what I'm doing, is just like banging my head against the wall, and through sheer perseverance, I'm hoping people will notice it. But there is no other way.
Absolutely. to even have a chance today in the saturated environment, you're either going to have to get really lucky, and because even with an excellent quality product, you're still going to need to be really lucky for people to even realize that it exists. You're going to need to have friends on the platform, which is how a lot of the ex-Viners suddenly blew up enormously on YouTube overnight. Or you need to have connections to other creators willing to lift you up and show off your stuff, because otherwise, you're just the 1 millionth zero subscriber channel on YouTube. Okay, good luck.
Yeah. There's a certain amount of luck to success, which there always is. But you never know if you don't try.
I know for sure I'm going to be shilling out your comic because, dear fucking God, this is so good. I just went to the Global Comics website and, yep, I have something new to read.
Yeah. I'm really glad you like it. Yeah, chapter 3 is taking a while, but it'll be out next year. I've been busy.
It's okay. Good shit takes time. I'd rather wait. Like, I don't care if it's like a year of waiting. If it's quality, I am willing to wait.
I appreciate that.
A good
Yeah,
shit
I really
does
wanna
take a lot
deliver
of time,
something good.
Lumi. I had a big dinner today, I know.
I mean, not all of us can eat as fast as Dev can.
I just had to ruin this nice little moment we were having here.
You're welcome. You torment me with tortilla and jalapeno, I torment you with Dev.
And, like, this is also the thing, right? Because Fiendish, as you say, is a fantasy epic. And once it's done in 30 years, it'll probably be a really great fantasy epic.
That's about right, yeah.
But, like, again, though, like, there's the issue. The competition in this market. Okay, so it takes an independent creator, like, years and years to produce a series. Meanwhile, you're up against Disney, you're up against DC, you're up against Marvel, each of whom have rebooted their characters about 5 times in the time it takes a person to make a single series.
Yeah, all this time they spent rebooting stuff. They could have just made something original. And I understand that creating an original character, an original world, it's very intimidating. It takes a lot of work, and you don't have that built-in audience, which is what these companies, these large entertainment companies are looking for. You want a built-in audience, and I'm sorry, you can't always have that. At some point, you're going to have to take a risk and innovate. I'm sure, I actually do think this will change in the future after they lose enough money, but it's not what's happening right now. But yeah, I think there is a value to taking that risk, of course, and I understand what I'm doing is a risk. You joked about Fiendish being done in 30 years. That might not be a joke. This series might take me the rest of my life, but by God, I will finish it and I will do a good job because I really do believe in it, and I think that's what it takes. So I'm going to do it.
This was the idea of creating something long-term, right? Okay, so we've got the idea of having a thing that you want to milk forever. That's the DC idea, that it reaches the widest possible audience. The worst part is they kind of had that already. Like, Batman the Animated Series from, like, 1993 or something, that actually had continuity all the way up till Justice League Unlimited, like 20 years or something later. It went for a very long time, and you can sort of do that if you structure the story correctly. The problem is that they never do, because what you need is breadth and scale. You need to have stories where you can worry about Clark Kent dating Lois Lane, for example. You need to be able to have a story about not being able to set up date night because Superman is too busy saving kittens or something. And then also have the story about needing to fight off an alien invasion. Because if you do that, you have so many more stories you can tell. But if everything is a fight against the supervillain of the week, then you run out of stories. Like, Gotham City can't be on the verge of extinction every week because it gets boring. And that's when you need to start remaking the entire character to basically try to start from zero again, only to make the exact same mistake. There's even there's one of the panels for the upcoming Absolute series where we see the new Batman fighting lizards or something, dudes with alien masks. Like, again, the exact same era. You've already started Batman out against some sort of weird terrorist cabal or something, rather than just street thugs.
Yeah, I look at this and I wonder if, to a certain extent, they are just searching for. They realize that these characters are sort of exhausted because they've been going on for so long, and they know deep down that it's time to create new characters, but they don't want to, so they're just changing the characters. And like, this doesn't make me want to read the story. It just seems like Batman in a strange costume, with fighting lizard people. I feel like it's been done before.
Well, it has. Like, the new Wonder Woman is a good example where I feel like they sat down and they thought, like, okay, Blade, but female. As now, Wonder Woman fights using a massive arsenal of swords and shit. She apparently doesn't have her braces anymore, raised in hell again, rides an undead horse. Kind of like the same problem with Superman. I'm wondering, why is this Wonder Woman fighting for humanity exactly? What's her motivation? Why is she doing anything? And we've already started out at 11.
Yeah. This seems like a different character. Why call her Wonder Woman? I don't understand.
There was one of the spin-off shows in DC. It was called Young Justice. I actually surprisingly enjoyed that one because it took a bunch of fairly new characters, placed them kind of like a covert unit of the Justice League, and had them fight at a much lower power level, like using more infiltration and stuff rather than, outright fighting Thanos and so on. It gave the story a lot more breadth, because you could deal with the interpersonal relationships and the problems between these characters instead of needing to save the world. And so saving the world was the culmination of 20 episodes rather than every single episode. I feel like this is something that DC has just forgotten now as they try to recreate the glory days without actually recreating any of the materials of the old days.
It's like people just lost their heart when it comes to creating things. It's like, I know, oh boy, capitalism, blah, 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 blah. But like, people just want it for the money. There is no heart, there is no care or love for the art form that they're working in. You can tell they just want to cater to the most amount of people who will buy whatever they throw up, and it's sad to see.
It's definitely an earnings thing, and again, the promise of the wider audience, which they keep being told is just around the corner. The worst part too is, I believe this was I never remember who said this, but there was a company that spent loads and loads of money years and years ago, like decades ago, trying to come up with the perfect pasta sauce. And after spending loads and loads of money, with loads and loads of focus groups, the dude came back and told the company, I'm sorry, there is no such thing as the perfect pasta sauce. There are only perfect pasta sauces. Because he realized some people like extra chunky salsa, some people don't like any chunks in their salsa, some like it spicy, some like it mild, some like it really ridiculously hot, and so on. And in a universe as wide as DC, what you really should be doing is be releasing 100 different characters, instead of releasing 3 characters over and over and over again. You want darker Batman? Okay, Nightwing. There you go.
Yeah. That's a really good point, and this was just something I was talking about on my show too, where this is a unique problem to American entertainment as well. because we were wondering why is it possible for manga, and I'm always going to compare American comics to manga specifically because it's just such a stark contrast. They're both comics at their core, but why does manga work so well? And manga can reach a wide audience while holding on to its core and not losing the original stories and the heart of what the creation was, while in American comics it seems to be the opposite. They both go for a large audience, but what manga does is the anime adaptations are very, very true to the manga, and the marketing and the even live action adaptations are as close as possible to the original stories, because in having been to Japan and done conventions in Japan, it's because they have a culture of respecting IP and respecting the creators. Creators are seen, their work is seen as, they have like traditionally they seem to really respect craftsmen and people that make things, and IP is something incorruptible and almost sacred, and I don't think American entertainment has that same view, because when you give your creation to, say, Marvel or DC, or to a movie adaptation, or to, say, an Amazon adaptation, they change it to try and reach a wider audience, but what they do is end up watering it down, because there is no universal audience. You can't make something for everyone that isn't absolutely boring and watered down, because, like you said, Arch, people have different preferences. So your best bet is to stay true to the original idea and just make a really good adaptation of that, or get more eyes on that one original idea and stay true to the creator's vision, and you will even if the audience is smaller, that is a more dedicated audience, and you don't corrupt the original creation. And I don't think that the American approach has really realized that yet. It seems very, very backwards, that there is no universal audience.
Let's see here. It's like, okay, another way that they want to try to get a wider audience is trying to mimic, and like anime art styles and all that. And for specifically that newer Superman television show, I forgot what it was called.
Adventures with Superman. Fucking hate it.
Yeah, that one. They are introducing Superboy next season, I guess. And this is what he looks like. And the first thing that I thought of, he looks just like Vash from the new Trigun Stampede. It's just a palette swap. It's just a palette swap at that point.
I hate that look. He looks like an edgy child I want to hurt. That's all.
No child looks like...
Some children deserve it. What can I say?
He just looks like a color swapped Vash.
But not as intimidating, though.
No.
Isn't that interesting?
He looks like he would cry if a leaf landed on him.
Right, they're going for the art style, but none of the actual pizzazz.
Again, some children deserve to be abused.
Disavow.
Because I watched through My Adventure with Superman recently. I'm gonna do a video on that too, and because it's so... It's just anime, and it's boring anime. It's anime without a personality. It's anime without a story, without weight, without involvement, without anything cool. It's just... Yeah. And God,
that's such a pity!
Like, okay, one of the things a lot of people complain about anime is that the romances never go anywhere. The guy and the girl blush at each other for 742 chapters and then kiss at the end. In My Adventure with Superman, it's the exact opposite. Lois Lane and Clark Kent has no romance whatsoever. They're down to fuck within 5 seconds of seeing one another, and the romance never escalates in any way whatsoever. There is no romance. They're both madly in love the first moment they interact. It's like, okay, but now there's no stakes. Now there's like, oh, they have a fight. Like, oh, cool, it'll be over in 20 minutes. Oh, look, it's over. Okay. It's so flat and uninspired. It's got all of the ingredients, but they're just left in little pots next to a pot of boiling water, I guess, without actually being added together.
Yeah, I haven't seen this new Trigun. Is this made in the West?
No.
Oh, it is a new Trigun. It's actually pretty good too.
Oh, okay.
The newer Trigun acts as a prequel to season 1 of the original Trigun.
Okay.
Let's see,
Cool.
what studio made Trigun Stampede?
Entirely neat little show.
Studio Orange, I believe.
I've not heard of them.
Let's see, Studio Orange also did Beastars.
Oh, Beastars. The furry anime.
Yes, the furry anime.
Of course, Lumi would know it.
I used to have a Netflix subscription. It was always on the front page. I never watched it. See, they did Godzilla Singular Point. They did a few shows that I've never watched personally. A show called Active Raid, Black Bullet, Majestic Prince. They're a newer studio, it looks like. Their earliest works was in 2013.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'll check it out.
Oh, that actually reminds me as well. Okay, this is one of the biggest strengths about manga. There is a dedicated thing for a specific audience for everyone. You're a furry like Lumi, Beastar. You like fishing. There's a fishing anime. You like war? Okay. Which flavor of war? Would you like Berserk, fantasy warfare? Would you like Renaissance warfare from musket to rifles? Would you like ancient Chinese warfare? Would you like the Second World War? Like, literally everything you can conceivably think of has a manga.
That's so awesome. Manga as a medium as well, which it's a medium, it's not a genre. I think in the West, some people just aren't very in tune with manga. They think, oh, manga's all like just degenerate stuff or something, or just all isekai or hentai. No, manga's a medium. You can find anything. There's a manga about, I always forget the name, Crimson something, but it's literally a whole manga series about salmon swimming upstream. And it's these anthropomorphized, well, not anthropomorphized, but like the salmon have like anime eyes. It's the most hilarious thing. You guys should look it up. Just look up like salmon manga or something. And there's that other, it's an anime. I don't know if it's a manga, but it's about like red blood cells. It's just these are characters that represent how human. Yeah. And it's like, that's such a strange esoteric thing, but it's apparently really good. And there's something for everyone. And that's how you find success, by just making up your mind about, this is the story I'm telling, this is my target audience, and I will not stray from it. I'm not trying to make something for absolutely everybody, because that's impossible. I'm just going to make something really good and stick to my original vision. And that's how you find success.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, you need an infrastructure to support this. In Japan, there is, where content creators can create the thing they want to make for the specific audience they wish to cater to, and there is enough of a supporting infrastructure, either via web novel releases or light novel releases, or a culture of just going to the stores, or via Shonen Jump, that they can then be discovered. Whereas in the West, we don't have that equivalent. Like, maybe there would be a Western comic for everyone if there was a way to actually find it, which just doesn't exist. And, like, that is the ideal form of entertainment in my mind, is that whatever you're into, there will be some form of entertainment that does that thing for you. Like, that's the perfect way.
Mm-hmm.
There's
there's a reason
about cuckolding in an isekai world, because of course there is.
Chat really likes Cells at Work.
Cells at Work is so good, though. It's like, how can I describe cells at work? It is. It's basically the Hitalia of the medical field.
Oh yeah, and there is so Cells at Work is very educational. Chat was bringing up Dr. Stone as well. That's also the thing that manga is. I mean, all the things that American Comics has lost and is not doing right, manga is doing it right. There's diversity of genre, which is the actual diversity that matters, and they have a wide array of stories for a younger audience, which is how you get people into the medium. But we can't do that here in the West because everything has to be for adults, it has to be dark and edgy, and let's forget about actually getting kids into reading comics and having any educational and aspirational content. Well, this is how you run an entire medium into the ground. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because again, there
not,
is
like,
everything. You want a manga about Germany having sex with Italy and where they're both boys? Yaoi World War II? It exists! I don't know why, but it exists!
Yeah.
Hitalia. One of the worst fandoms I have ever experienced in my life. Do you know how many people committed suicide in that fandom?
What? Did not know this.
The harassment that people would give each other is fucking wild. The Fujoshis in that fandom are horrifying.
Oh god, I just know the fandom was really rabid, and like a lot of people I knew were into it, but I never watched. I was like, oh, it's cool. It's countries as characters. That's nice.
It is the most toxic fandom I have ever heard of. They are worse than the fucking what was that? They're worse than the Undertale fandom. They are worse than the My Hero fandom. Nothing will ever top the toxicity and pure vitriol that is the Hitalia fandom.
Alrighty. I will give them a wide berth.
And I found a picture of Lumi engaged in her Fujoshi style too. Oof.
Just because I like killing stalking doesn't make me like that. Shut up.
Purple hair. I think that's a pretty close one. And again, though, this is actually why I am sort of excited for AI art in the future, because ideally speaking, I would love a situation in which everyone can create whatever they want for cheap and easily and with a relatively, quick turnover time, so that everyone can make their story. If you want to write a story about the worst horrific excesses of Fujoshi fandom, you can do that. You want to make a worse, you can do that. You want to make an isekai, the 5,000th month, you can do that. You want to just rip off the Lord of the Rings, hey, you'll probably do better than Amazon, so go ahead.
Yeah, a fan-produced Lord of the Rings adaptation there is no way you can make something worse than Amazon. I bet that would happen. I bet in a few years, when AI is absolutely amazing, people will just start making their own adaptations. And what are these companies going to do? They'll have to have to actually compete then.
Well, what they'll probably do is just ban the tools, honestly, or monopolize them. That's the worst case scenario.
Oh, great.
Otherwise, I think a lot of these companies are going to kind of get run out of the business, because the thing is, you can have, let's take Lord of the Rings example, right? There will be 5,000 variants of Lord of the Rings. This one is 100% lore accurate, this one's like 95% lore accurate, this one has all of the characters race swap with girls, and it'll be something for everybody. If your perfect interpretation of the Lord of the Rings will exist out there somewhere on the 75,000 different tags associated with the Lord of the Rings. It's like, great. Complete democratization of entertainment. Everybody gets exactly what they want. And that is going to eventually kill Batman, because you're going to have the Batman story told in so many different ways with so many different characters that the character itself becomes less relevant than the story, finally, which is what we're struggling with now, with the character being more important than the story. Like with the Caped Crusader, they wanted to make a Barbara Gordon and Renee Montoya show, but that wouldn't sell, so they named it Batman.
It's like it's bad at this point that the porn parodies of a lot of these properties have more substance and story than the new shit coming out.
I'll tell you, Axel Brown puts a lot more thought into the costumes than Marvel does.
What was that? The female Iron Man that they had to what was it called? Ironheart or something like that. That was a porn parody. First.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What?
I think it was called Ironheart, if I remember correctly. Yep, Ironheart.
Ironheart is the actual. Yeah, that's the actual character, Riri.
Riri Williams. That name triggers me tremendously.
Yeah, the most non-character character of all time.
Ah, there we go. It's Japanese. I cannot show this on screen. Let me see if I can recut it in a way that YouTube won't be angry at.
I still need to watch the fucking Girls on Panzer.
Girls on Panzer is best anime.
Mizu said that he is going to drag me into watching it. I still just need to find a day to watch it. Maybe after my self-torment of Rings of Power Season 1, I will palate cleanse with that.
Why are you watching Rings of Power?
Because Arch is dragging me into reviewing Season 2, and I need to watch it for context.
Oh, you poor thing.
I possess power over Lumi. Power she will never escape. I am Sauron, she is with the ring. And there we go, Ironheart, the porn parody. Wow, they made that before, like, because they're trying to make a TV show out of this. I think it's been delayed now for like 3 years or something. But supposedly it's still being worked on. Although they cancelled Lando recently, which kind of annoys me because if they did Lando well, as in cool and suave, that would actually kind of be interesting. But I'm sure they would have just replaced him with Lando's unknown wife or something, or daughter.
Yeah. It just...
This porn parody came out before the character?
Well, before the character, maybe. Oh, God. Okay. Jav database, here I come.
I mean, looks like a better design than the actual comic.
The cameo. First appearance, Invincible Iron Man Volume 2, number 7, May of 2016.
2016. No, I think this is it? I can't find the... I can't find an entry about this thing now, which mildly annoys me. Regardless, the television show still isn't out, so they beat that one out, if nothing else.
Let's see. Is this? No.
Oh, the porn parodies from... I'm learning so much today. Yeah, I think the porn parody was from years ago. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, the porn parody's older.
Anyways.
The porn parody is older?
Yeah, I'm trying to find an exact date, but it's just giving me links to the porn itself. I'm like, I want the release date, not the porn, please.
Yeah, sorry, we're doing research here.
History. RIP.
And the TV show is not cancelled yet, but it's been pushed back to 2025 again.
Yep.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
I'm sure that's an absolute tragedy. I'm sure Riri Williams would have been a blessing to to my television, certainly.
Yeah, I'm sure that she is. She's definitely really, really popular and not in astroturfed. It doesn't have completely astroturfed popularity at all. Yep. That's not this new generation of Marvel characters at all.
I just hate the name. Riri. Like, God, why? It's stupid. It's a dumb name. Riri. It's not a real name even. It sounds more like Ree.
The jokes right
I don't
themselves
know. Yeah, it does. I know people with weird names like that, though. It's what the character is just not. I mean, there is such a non-character. It's kind of like Rey. What is her actual personality? I don't know. And that's, I mean, and not to mention that she's derived from Iron Man. I mean, I don't see why they think that's. Why can't they just create a new character? I don't understand. Why?
Creativity.
Or as in, like,
is
someone
dead.
completely original, right? Not just as in, she is a separate character, but she's a female version of Iron Man. Make something new. Completely.
But better. Tony needed his billions to create his suits. I think Riri just hammered it together out of fucking Toyota parts in her basement.
She has a lot of parallels to Rey. She's just massively talented without having to try and work hard for it. I mean, I understand okay, if a character, even if a character is a genius, there are all these questions of the question comes back to believability. A character can be massively intelligent, but where are their resources for building the suit? What, like, it just isn't believable that some high school kid would be able to do that. And it starts seeming like this is where, this is why people will call characters like her and Rhea Mary Sue. It's not just because they're good at things. The problem isn't that they're good at things. It's that there is no build-up to them being good at things. It's not believable.
I mean, that's kind of like what I liked about Iron Man in the movies, because when Tony built his first suit, it was literally a scrap iron. And it's not believable it's like, if you view it realistically, there is no way that suit stops goddamn AK bullets. Would tear right through it, no problems. But I don't care, because I'm into the story now. I'm watching Tony Stark build this damn thing, sweating away, trying to make it look like a missile that he's building instead. And then finally he breaks out, and there's an awesome fight scene where he blows everything up and fires flamethrowers. And then he goes home, when he has all his resources, and makes the proper suit. Like, that's cool. Some chick makes it her own suit in her garage under no duress. Not cool.
Yeah, but with stolen plans, by the way, she didn't even come up with the suit by herself. So it was, she stole the designs, and she also had the physical resources to build this thing, and just made it perfectly the first time. I mean, Iron Man is a genius as well, but the way he went about building his suit was believable. That's the key right there. Believability and giving characters struggles, but we're allergic to giving female characters struggles right now. That's not okay. Women can't struggle with anything, guys.
It just all needs to end. All of it. It should have ended with Fat Thor. It should have stopped there. We should all have just burned down the cinemas and marched away. But no, we allowed Fat Thor to happen, and now look where we are.
Oh, poor Fat Thor.
The best part about Fat Thor is that he made the Valkyrie chick king of Asgard. Like, I love that in so many levels. Like, hey, black woman, yeah, you're a king now. Not a queen? No, king. Why? Because Asgard has kings. Oh. Why me? Oh, you're nearby.
I mean, insulting is that with, I mean, I really just love this modern trend of modern feminism it's really great, because you can't have anything you can't be empowered by anything that's feminine. You have to be king, you can't be queen, you have to act like a man, you can't act like a woman, you have to excel in hand-to-hand combat to be powerful. There's no other way to be powerful, everybody. There's no other way to be an interesting female character. You have to act like a man. It's ridiculous. I really, really feel like they care about me as a woman and really represented. Great.
Absolutely. So much representation. So much wow.
Much wow.
All right, let me do some of the super chats too. Here, do you have something for me, Lumi? Do you have something to show me?
It's not related to the topic, but after super chats, I can throw a funny and then some disappointing things that are going on in England.
They're rioting at the moment, and entirely justifiably so.
Well, yeah, they're getting
are you
stabbed.
Are you in England?
Oh no, I'm a filthy American, but I have friends over there.
Yay, high five. Filthy American.
Yay! Also, here you go. Have a funny. Can't show it on stream, but it's still fucking funny.
Just like the football match.
Oh god.
See, Renee, you and Lumi are kind of similar. You're both the Mexicans of your respective regions. Taiwanese and Mexican.
Mexican?
Yeah.
Wait, Taiwan? We're Mexicans of Asia?
Yes. You're the Mexicans of China. Like, China looks at you like, you're actually mine. America kind of looks at Mexico. And it did that, like a big slice of Mexico. America just took. We call it Texas now.
That is true, yeah, unfortunately. I resist! I will not be ruled by commies.
I thought the Filipinos were the Mexican Asians.
Nah, the Filipinos
the migrant workers in Asia.
The Filipinos are more like the second Thailands of Asia, like the ladyboys of Asia.
Fair enough.
Oh no, the domestic workers and migrant workers in all the richer East Asian countries they're all Filipinos. Some Thais, some Malays, but mostly Filipinos. The term for live-in maid in Taiwan is literally Filipino maid, because that's just how common they are. Yeah, Feiyong.
That's terrible. Very horrible. I thought the Philippines were supposed to be an American colony. America's lagging behind.
Yeah. Step it up.
Let's see. Carafen Fraser over on Streamlabs. As always, a fish taco stream is promising to be a good stream. Renee, I checked out your website and I like your art style very much. Strikes me as a mix of classic Western comic with a bit of manhwa thrown in there. And for Arch, how to say enchilada.
You actually kind of said it correctly.
Yeah, enchilada.
Enchilada.
I mean, I suppose enchilada would be more like phonetically accurate, but...
Enchilada?
Enchilada.
Oh, and thank you. I'm glad you like English. Yeah, enchilada.
Let's see. Enchilada. Enchilada? That sounds a little bit wrong. Yeah, no, I think it actually is enchilada. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm actually learning Spanish, but my accent is terrible, so I don't know.
It's okay. As long as you don't sound like Arch.
That wasn't that bad.
I'll have there's a link, of course, to Renee's channel, which should be working this time, I hope, in the description of the video. Not the description, in the title of the video with that cool little clicky linky thingy. And I'll put a link to Fiendish Comics if you want to check it out in the chat as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Craft Phrase also says, concerning the Cape Crusade, I had low expectations, but they were underwhelmed. I saw the first episode out of morbid curiosity and was willing to look over the half-black 40s Gotham, but my god, I saw the unlikable characters and Harley Quinn humor. Oh, that's still they do. Okay, so they made Harley Quinn Korean or something? I think Asian, some version of Asian. And she has no affiliation to the Joker now. She's just a psychiatrist who kidnaps rich people and forces them to give up their money to charity. But she still wears the costume. And this kind of brings back to, like, okay, if you take everything away from Superman, what is Superman? But in the reverse, why the hell is Harley Quinn wearing a jester costume when what she is in essence doing is being a findom dominatrix? The fuck is the... Why?
Yeah, and why are they making her Asian? Isn't they have Punchline? Isn't that like the new Asian Harley Quinn character?
They did that for about 5 minutes because they wanted to emancipate Harley from the Joker, which they've tried so many times now. And They just need to accept the fact that Harley Quinn was created as an ancillary character, and that is fine. You can have characters that make other characters better. Not everyone has to be the hero.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Robin, I hate the Bat family. I despise it. Like, they two of them, tops. Barbara Gordon, that's kind of cool because the daughter of the police commissioner, that adds in a lot of familial drama, and she had a great design. Robin, okay, cool little kid sidekick for the children to, project themselves onto. Fine, shrug. But there's like 12 of them now. Like, what the fuck happened, Bruce? Old brooding bat, like, nobody can know my secret. I wouldn't wish my life on anyone except you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you.
Well, they need to expand the franchise for more money, but they need to attach it to Batman because that's the only way they make money. That's what's happening.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find an updated count on the fucking Bat family now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? Yeah, I think there's 13 people in the Bat family now. Like, I feel as if we've expanded the Lone Caped Crusader a little bit too much at this point. Fuck, he's a Korean boy band plus.
Korean boy band.
Zero, now, I'm not saying you're late, but I did reread some of the classic Aesop dawdles, Late in Punishment, Hamlet, Beyond Good and Early, and even Do Androids Dream of Scheduled Streams. Android Dreams of Electric Sheep is a nice little movie. Then they butchered it. But hey, what else is new? Zero, just picking up 19L84, also Irony. And Sandoom, Lumi being late is commie dev ploy. I just know it. It might be.
He ate all of my tater tots. I had to make new ones.
And Subject Noble, Art, how much money does it take to make Lumi do a reenactment of The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife? She needs to be punished for being late.
Hey!
Considering she was asking 300 for feed pics, I imagine that would be expensive. Zonta, the Brits finally rise up, and because God doesn't like good news, Manga now does commie struggle sessions. Why must God always balance the game? Because he thinks it's funny, that's why. Mr. Twisted Frenzy, hey Arch, with regards to the 2nd and 11th Legions, have you ever come across a homebrewed Legion or Primarch that you thought was a pretty cool idea? No. They've all been terribly cringe, and I've hated all of them. 05 just like a real woman, Archly is late. Nolly?
I was also mildly late.
Yeah,
we were fulfilling stereotypes today.
I did nothing wrong. Nolly, idea. What about what Pepperbox is doing? Find a group of characters, build an app, build a dedicated community, cater to them and them alone, supported through paid subscribers. Pepperbox. I do not know what that is. Let's see. Pepperbox TV? There's some kind of YouTube alternative again? I have no idea, but I like the idea of doing that. Like, probably one of the best ways to be able to create sustainable content creation is through some sort of long-term subscription plan. And really, ideally, we could return to the days of actual microtransaction, where if you could get everybody to pay $1 to participate on a website, it's like, okay, nobody's going to necessarily miss $1 a month, but if you get enough people on there, that'll actually turn into a decent bit of money to at least help with the creation and the support of, like, making comics, of making shows, of making music, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Is a possibility. I mean, we already have stuff like Patreon, and at least happily Patreon has started shutting up after trying to cancel creators early on. Now they only go after, well, everyone that does hentai stuff.
Yep.
Oh, really? Are they going against loot stuff?
They hate any porn, really, or any risky porn. If it's not straightforward, everyone's consenting, everyone looks whatever, then it's Patreon is so fucking dumb. That's why I guess a lot of people are going over to Subscribestar.
Yeah, I've heard my Patreon is dormant. I need to just cancel it. You can build your own website with a subscription service. It's actually not that hard. I have it for the Fiendish website. Not shilling, but yeah, I do agree that having a subscription service for fans to support a creator during content creation at small increments at like a regular pace is the best way to stay afloat as an independent creator.
Yep. No, donations is absolutely the best way, as no matter how aggressive YouTube gets with ads, like, donations are still probably one of the largest income sources that I have on YouTube, despite the new changes to the ad system. Like, before, there was an ad at the beginning of the stream or the episode, and then and then at the end, maybe. Okay, that was it. Now they've done, like, insert manual or automatic ads, and they won't let you turn it off. You can only, like, turn it on, like, insert manually. That's the only option. And even then, it sometimes runs automatically, and it's so goddamn aggressive. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it, I click the little, like, oh no, don't show the ad. And it's supposed to be set for every 30 minutes, and I swear to God, it pops up like every 5. It's like I'm fighting as a little rabid beast that's like, no, ad, no, calm.
Yeah, they show ads mid-stream too. I have this stream open in YouTube, and it was showing me ads at in the middle of this stream. I don't know why.
Yeah, because it's set up to be like an ad every like 30 minutes. That's the conservative choice. I'm like, okay, an ad per 30 minutes. Like, fair enough. That's my my viewership admission fee. But it doesn't insert it at every 30 minutes. Like, I've rewatched some of the videos where they've inserted ads like every 5 minutes. Like, YouTube, you seem to be lying to me. It's like, at this point, how the hell do you make the argument to people like, oh, turn off that pesky ad blocker, to quote a certain individual?
I mean, it's better than Twitch and how they do theirs. It's like, what? A viewer of mine said they got like 9 ads back to back. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's why I usually try to cart them over here to YouTube.
Yeah, like, I entirely understand people using ad blocker. Like, literally, if you donate $1 over the course of a month, you've probably contributed more than your views would have anyway. That's how terrible it is. But I remember V was once telling me, like, oh, I hope there doesn't become too many YouTubers because they won't have enough ads for everybody to show. Well, I don't think that's a fucking concern anymore. YouTube. Zero says, Renee, I have your comics too. They are great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your support.
Jordan Rogers, Dev Appreciation Post, Chast Must Seethe, and Hi Lumi.
Hello.
See, we can create ourselves a Dev and Lumi. We just need to have her read Das Kapital a couple times.
Huh?
Maybe the prison notebooks. Maybe something from Engels as well, really, to round out her education. Marksman of 117 beat 2 amazing jalapeno. And Arch, hello. Lucian, hello. Safe edgy. Yes, that is a term, safe edgy. I hate it.
Yep. Safe edgy.
Vroccoli, a bit of a late happy birthday greetings, but happy birthday. Any chance for High Elves Lord on the Lore channel? Started buying Painting an Army. Once Sabbat is done in, like, 6 months' time, maybe.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you're old.
You already did that, Lumi. You already sent me, like, 1 year closer to birth. Or death.
No, I said happy birth, and then I tagged you in a Twitter post telling everyone to call you old.
Sometimes,
Oh,
Lumi,
we're all old.
sometimes I wonder why I bring you on and don't punish you more often.
Because you like the fish.
That's what friends are for.
Exactly. He just keeps me in a fishbowl and shakes it every once in a while when he needs me.
I have come up with a new nickname that is more respective of your culture. Lum Lum, the pocket fish.
I'm gonna change my name to that now. God fucking damn it.
Terence Chill, that dude looks like Dune Guy as Superman. Dune Guy? Dune Guy? Dune? Oh, yes, Paul Atreides. Well, new gay Paul Atreides.
Oh, you didn't like Paul in the movies?
I didn't hate him, but I didn't like him either. He looks too femboy, particularly considering the 1984 Paul Atreides. He still managed to do that very aristocratic, fluffy, like 80s hairstyle, but still look manly, whilst the new one really looks like he would bottom in any relationship he's in. And considering Chani ended up leaving him to start a fucking resistance against him, I think that's a pretty damn good estimate.
Is that what Chani was? Oh, well, I didn't like Chani was the worst part of the new movies. I like Paul though. He's supposed to be like kind of Twinkie in the books.
And yes, by the way, Chani did actually leave him to basically join the resistance against the God Emperor thing. So...
Oh, did I just forget that? Yeah, she was terrible. I didn't like her.
Repressed memory, probably, because Chani was terrible in the Dune
She was
movies.
terrible. I quite liked most of the rest of the movies. But she was not part of it.
Like... Chani's entire character was written as a current year female. That's the problem. Because she's not supposed to be. She is supposed to be the loving wife. She's supposed to be an ancillary character. She has her own goals, her own methods, and she has her own storyline as well. But at the end of the day, she is an ancillary to Paul Atreides. Like, everybody is in essence an ancillary to Paul Atreides. But you can't have that in the current year, and so they had to write her as a rebellious, strong female. And I guarantee you, what's going to happen is that just like in the books, Paul eventually will be like, ah, shit, this whole jihad thing was a terrible mistake. And then Chani's just going to peer out of the shadows like, see, I told you! Ooh.
No, she's completely different then. It's okay to change some things from the books, but she just... Zendaya does not have the charisma to be, in my opinion, to be leading this many franchises. I just don't really understand why she's everywhere. But yeah, this Chani just didn't work. In the book, she can fight actually, but that wasn't her only role. She was Paul's consort. That was her role. That's okay.
That's okay. A woman's role is to be submissive and breedable. And now I go hide.
What? How dare you? Well, Chani's role was that.
Zero?
Yeah, I don't get why they had to do that. Oh, sorry. I don't get why they had to do that. Dune already has Jessica, which is, if you want a strong female character, you have that. But whatever. Current year.
They did that because it's not enough with one. You can only have strong female characters. Like, you can't have vulnerable females anymore. You're not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Zero says, Koto 2 explored moral ambiguity better than Disney. I mean, I'm pretty sure my breakfasts explored moral ambiguity better than Disney. Sujad, modern female writers want to use the attractive villains as stand-ins for the male jocks bullies who didn't choose them. Darkseid is the material universe avatar of the concept of tyranny, which, you know, unironically, I do think that there is a tremendous amount of these SJW women who just haven't gotten laid a whole lot in their life, and they dream of basically getting pushed down by the big mean dude and violated. Something the soy boys can't do for them. And so they look at entertainment, and they look at Superman and go, oh, wouldn't it be fun if he would be mean to me? I'm like, can you keep your fetishes out of the comics, though? Like, do it on your own time. Like, write as many fetish comics as you want. Get your sexual oppression out somewhere else. The rest of us can. Have you seen hentai? Oh God, have you seen the hentai that female authors write? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yep, that stuff is pretty spicy. I will abstain from the true motivations of mainstream female writers nowadays, but it is true that a lot of the characters and a lot of things they're putting into comics, it seems like it's all fetish stuff. It's not just comics. The whole acolyte hot Sith thing, it's somebody's wet dream, basically, and they're putting it into mainstream entertainment. That doesn't entertain the rest of us. You can keep it to yourself and draw a hentai doujinshi.
I
where it belongs.
think it's like I blame the popularization of 50 Shades of Grey for saying, "Oh, look at this, make some money. Look at this." It's gone down from there.
Well, that's fine. That's its own franchise, though. The problem is when you turn Star Wars into 50 Shades of Grey, or insert the same fetishistic ideas of a small group of writers into a franchise that wasn't made for that.
I mean, you know, 50
strange.
Shades started out as a Twilight fanfiction, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's still fan fiction. They just changed the names. It's
all fan fiction.
It's all fan fiction. Also, I'll be right back.
Yeah, fanfic writers shouldn't be handling large mainstream franchises, please.
Nolly, it's something communities are going to have to accept. If you want something, realize it's going to be a niche, and you alone are going to be keeping it alive. Been done before, it can again. Battletech. Yeah, more community-focused entertainment is probably going to be the future, once everybody learns that once you make something for everybody, it's just not for you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Dizwiz, caught you again. Latin X goldfish. Now, say tortilla. You just missed it too, damn it. Wartooth88 was just unsubscribed from your channel live. What the fuck? Oh, that's just YouTube. It's entirely normal. We're all used to it.
Oh, you get people force unsubscribed from you?
It's just part and parcel of living on a big platform. Ace 1918, I heard talk of Star Wars and comics. May I join? Well, we should bring you on someday, Ace. We will. Why you hating? Amazon are clueless. They want to check all the diversity boxes in the Warhammer show just to make it about a squad of sisters battle during the Age of Apostasy with Cavill as Gog Vandir. Oh God. Oh Jesus, that's actually a brilliant idea. Yes, Henry Cavill as the abusive daddy figure surrounded by the warrior women as he uses his sex appeal to make them do whatever he wants. Oh Jesus. That movie would sell like nothing else has ever sold. It'll make 50 Shades of Grey look like a goddamn parking sale. God, yes.
Yeah. Probably.
No, I can already see it in my head, like sweaty Henry Cavill leaning in, lifting up one of the Sisters of Battle's chin just a little bit, like, "You're gonna be a faithful warrior sister, aren't you?" And you just hear every woman in the movie theater wet themselves simultaneously. Unironically, do it. Like, here's the thing. I have no problem with female fan service. Like, you want a show that is heavy on female fan service? Fucking go ahead. I just want to have my fan service too in my shows. Unironically, that would be an excellent way to do Henry Cavill. So sweaty, says Jack. Oh yes, it would be sweaty.
Well, he would want to make the everything else surrounding the franchise lore accurate, and they're not going to have that.
Yeah, I am pretty sure right now, basically, Games Workshop and Amazon are horse trading for what they can get away with, as Amazon don't want to write a 40k show, because 40k is a very masculine setting, and Amazon doesn't want to write masculine fiction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine so.
The Gog Vandir bath scene. Damn. I actually kind of think we should create this now just to shut everybody up. Then that way nobody can critique 40k again. Every time a left wing goes like, 40k is evil, just point to that show. Look, there you go. Oh, 40k is suddenly really cool.
I know nothing of 40k.
That is a sin for which you have been forgiven.
I want to get into it, but honestly, I'm afraid of just becoming completely obsessed. So I hear there's a lot of lore.
There is a lot of lore.
That looks really cool, though.
Bucket historian Spiderpig Lord of Crubs says, "No, Dev, I can stand behind this the bucket protects." No, Dev, I can... Your lack of punctuation confuses me as to your sentence structure, but I understand now. John Smith, your 5 puts Arch on to hear her lovely rolling R. I am a her now. While working, here's incredibly sexy female voice. Now I can't work a sexy voice too much, only sexy R's. I don't know if he's talking about me, Lumi, or Renee. I'm confused now.
I don't know.
Sentence structure is difficult. Sanguine, yay, Feet is back. Now that I know is about Lumi. Marksman 117B, Hancock's OG script was about him trying to nut. I mean, sort of, yes. That was kind of the thing, that he was trying to find a woman to, not die, I guess. Tatsusama, happy belated birthday, Northman. Thank you very much. Mama Oko, Hong Kong. Shadowfox2300, that's just it. Art, most of the most famous fighter pilots in history started out on crop dusters, where they were first learning to fly. I mean, I suppose that is probably true. Or bombing the Spanish in Spain. Cedric Noble, Art, how much for you to do a review of the HBO Spawn series? Also, have you watched Devilman Crybaby? If you liked it, you are worse than Dev. I have not watched either of those. I didn't even know there was a Spawn series on HBO. It kind of makes me interested, though, because Spawn's a really cool character. That looks kind of neat. 1997. Very old. God. Tatsusama, please keep Lumi as a regular. I don't have a choice. She's stuck here now. Mark ashamed. Sex power dynamics be like men fight, women fuck. I mean, yes, in essence. You can expand upon that, but at its core, I suppose, yes. Dizwiz, trading Destiny for Day Lumi was the best decision. D.I. Lumi. Sanddoom. One thing that gets on my nerves for modern entertainment is they always go with big bad overpowered antagonists or some over-the-top story that is bad. They need to go a smaller scale of storytelling like Arcane or Cyberpunk. Oh yeah, no, I agree. I think it is just a lot more interesting story, frankly. If the hero has real-life concerns, you can get invested in him worrying about, like, missing a test at school, if we're thinking like Smallville, for example, or, agonizing over why he can't play on the football team, because he's got fucking superpowers. That allows you to do more stuff. It doesn't stop you from doing the superpowered threat, it just allows you to do some smaller stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not everything needs to be a world-ending disaster. Smallville was a pretty good example of this, where it was very human and daily life level conflicts, but they would sprinkle in some larger fights along the way.
I watched that way back in the day, but I've never rewatched it. I've never watched the whole thing. Did he ever actually, fly and become Superman?
Never finished it. I watched like halfway through. It was good in a sitcom-y way, but yeah, it was
Christ.
believable as this is the story of young Superman and everything.
It ran from 2001 to 2017. 10 seasons.
talking
Holy
about?
shit.
That long?
Are you talking about Smallville?
Yep, 217 episodes total.
Wow.
People clearly enjoyed it.
I thought they had the original run and then they stopped it for a bit and then they picked it up with new actors. Oh, nope. It's just all the same people. I guess there was just a long hiatus. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, it's the same actors.
200 episodes. My God, that's a lot of Superman. I'm glad I did not decide to try and rewatch this before talking about Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne as Superman and Batman, because Jesus, they're probably all an hour long too, aren't they?
I don't think so.
No, they were shorter episodes, I remember. Yeah, I just binged like a good half of that series for a while, way back when.
Oh, runtime of 40 to 60 minutes. The pilot was 50 minutes, and then a couple of season finales were 84 minutes.
So when I said an hour long and you go, no, what you were doing was gaslighting Arch.
I was purposely gaslighting. I was proven wrong. Yeah, they should just re-air Smallville and some older shows. Just give up on making new stuff for a while. Why don't we do that?
Corona was a goddamn blessing, I tell ya. Boog, hi all. What do you put on your fish taco? Expectations and pressure to perform is what I put on mine.
God damn it. God fucking damn it. Also, hi, Boog.
Merson X21, there is a reason why they go out of their way not to whore people of talent. Hire, I'm presuming. It is by design. The death of civilization and humanity in general is not a side effect. It is the end goal. Cult mentality. I mean, we're getting there. We're approaching that level. Mark James. So what I learned from all those one-day comment bans YouTube loves to give me, it doesn't ban you from Louvre chats or super chats. You can also buy comments. So when YouTube bans you, it's telling you to pay up. Hey, I'm on side with this. This is something YouTube does that's correct. Let's ban people and force them to communicate via dollar signs. We need more of this. Can I turn this on like a chat setting, like only super chats? Yes.
I mean, just ban everybody, and then they can only communicate via super chat.
Electric Angel. They could have made Riri Williams just a girl obsessed with working on the Iron Man suit. Maybe she's missing a leg, or her mum does. Then through handiwork and effort, she makes something that works, and Tony picks her up as a sidekick, talented engineer. Well, that's exactly it. You can't have ancillary characters anymore. Like, we've completely gotten rid of the support character, like the guy in the chair doing the research, doing the hacking. We don't get those anymore, because they are, by definition, supporting characters, and we just can't have those anymore. Everyone needs their own goddamn show. Oof.
Yeah, like, I forgot what show or movie it was, but I think her name was, like, Oracle or the Oracle. I don't remember. In the comics, she was, like, what, a blind old woman, and in the movie, she's, like, some young 20-something. I think that was a Captain Marvel thing. I don't remember.
No, that was Spider something or other. Spider Woman, Spider Chick.
Madam Web?
Madam Web, that was it.
There we go.
Oh, no, the movie, she was, that was in, like, set in 2003, so it was set in the past in relation to the MCU. It was not a good movie. It was so bad, it was funny. I enjoyed it because I laughed so hard. It was terrible.
It was such a tonally confused movie. Like, because I swear to God, if they had actually marketed that movie as what it was, which was damn near kind of like a sexploitation film almost. Like, they got Sydney Sweeney in there, Isabella Merced, Celeste O'Connor, Dakota Johnson, all of them actually looking attractive for once. Like, the story is absolute dog shit on every single level, but if they'd actually gone like, hey, attractive female characters in a current year flick, I guarantee you the internet would have forcibly made it into, if not a success, then at the very least a meme. But no, instead they go, this is a strong female character movie. Like, it's a weird definition of the term, and I haven't seen it before, but okay. Oh, and goddamn the Spider-Man. It's like, oh, Spider-Man was back then. Oh, okay, how? Well, he's an evil Mexican supervillain who uses spiders that came from the stars or something to see the future. Okay, somebody's...
Oh, it made no sense.
The goddamn Mexicans every single time.
Somebody's been hitting the mescal a bit heavy. God, it was such a weird little thing.
It was terrible. None of the powers were... Nothing was consistent. They had issues with linearness. The lines were bad. But it's... If they... I do agree. I think if they just made the characters... If they didn't dress down Sydney Sweeney, because why would you do that? And all the other female characters, this would have done better.
At the very least, like, if you don't have a story, and you don't have a plot, you don't have linearity, you don't really have much, at the very least, just take the female actor's clothes off, I guess. It'll get you some extra box office success.
It's like, I think the
everybody
last
did
modern Marvel... I'm sorry.
No.
But I think the last modern Marvel film that I watched was the first Deadpool movie. I still haven't seen Deadpool 2 yet, and I still need to watch Deadpool 3, because they're legitimately fun movies to watch. It's like, I'm not watching Deadpool for the fucking plot. I'm there for fun and laughs. I don't really give a shit on, is this story continuity lining up? No. It's just good fun. And I miss fun movies.
Yep. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine's story is fucking awful. It is one of the worst multiverse stories I think I have ever seen. God, it was bad. But it's fine, because Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, and they're just having fun together. Like, okay, cool. Not a problem. Sadly, we cannot have fun. Fun is illegal. Boog asks, thoughts on the ending of My Hero Academia? No idea. Haven't seen it. You too?
I have not seen it either. Nope.
I don't give a shit.
Lum. How dare you?
I like My Hero. I'm just way behind because I have a comic to draw before I can indulge in entertainment.
I have been savage rating in Final Fantasy 14. I don't give a shit about My Hero.
Well, here you go, Boog. Disappointment all around.
Aww.
Bugaslawa, did any of you all read Tintin? Still my favorite. I did. As a kid, I had a couple of volumes of Tintin.
Did you see the movie?
I have not seen any movies, no.
The movie actually isn't too bad.
Old school French comics. Those were good. And Asterix and Obelisks. Like, the French were the kings of comic until the American culture just choked everybody else's out and left them rotting in the weeds.
Well, modern French comics are still really good. Like, there's really good stuff coming out. They treat it like art. They put out albums. There's a lot of great fantasy coming out of France and some Spanish language stuff too. It's just too bad it's not widely distributed. It's only in Europe.
Well, it's not widely distributed in part because of the French's incredible hatred of other Europeans. Like, no, we will not translate our product. Fuck you.
It's like, what was that one French animation that I really got into? What was it called? Like, fuck. Okay, keep talking. I need to Google this because I don't remember what it's called. Fuck me. Hold on.
No,
there's a lot of good French animation too. What's that animation school? Gobelins? I am pronouncing it wrong because I don't care. I don't speak any French. But yeah, Gobelins.
Wakfu, something like that.
Yeah, France makes good art. It's just only available in French, so that's great.
It is copy image this series.
Oh,
it is very good. I really like it.
That does look very, very nice. Yeah, there's a ton of really good stuff. For some, just off the top of my head, the Siegfried series. If you like fantasy and adaptations of traditional mythology, the Siegfried series by Alex Alice is really good. Black Sad is a really, really good French-style comic. The artist
manga.
used to work for Disney. It's not. No, it's anthropomorphized, but it's not furry. I'm in denial.
Oh boy.
I'm in denial.
Okay, let me bring up an image here. Here you go, chat. This is what Rini defines as not furry.
I refuse. I will not concede this.
Do not believe your lying eyes, chat.
It's noir.
Ah, noir.
It's a very good noir story. So if you don't mind suffering the furriness, it's a good noir story.
It's a noir
have
story.
Have you seen what was it called, Laxadaisy or something like that? It's a YouTube series that it's very, very similar to that.
Yeah. Oh, Lackadaisy. Okay. I've been following that since 2004 or something, when it started out on DeviantArt, because I was also on DA all the time then. Yeah, but it's a more cutesy style.
Yeah.
It's like 1920s Prohibition era, but with like cute kittens. Yeah, it's really, really nice looking.
I'm happy it's doing well, honestly, because like more indie animators do need eyes on them, which like it's a very ambitious project. I'm happy it panned out for them.
Yeah. Speaking of indie creators that actually can continue their projects and stay afloat, I'm very impressed with what Lackadaisy has done. Good to them. Good for them.
Lackadaisy. And by the way, chat, don't get me wrong, Black Sad is actually really good. I've read a couple of them myself. They're really amazing, but it is furrier than FurryCon. I just need to put that out there. Tatsu-sama, Tortilla Lumi is love.
Yay!
Nicholas Cantor. Hey Arch, how about a Movlov miniseries about the beta? War after the Sabbath World's Crusade. The alternative timeline, not unlimited, the day after. Maybe. That'd be very, very niche. Perhaps. I'll consider it. Manga 2, if we're talking proper Spanish, the ill is not a Y, but a lie. Sound akin to bliat. Most Hispanics have lost the sound. Also, I miss Dev. Oh, poor Dev. He's a bliat too.
Doesn't the 2L sound depend on the dialect of Spanish? I was taught to say je. Whatever.
Thomas was here. Hello, new friend. Welcome, and hope you like it here.
Hello.
Boog, socialism only works with magical powers. I mean, yes. Actually, yes. Pokelda, too. Now that the D&D campaign is dead, can you make a playlist of them? Also, episode numbers, please. No. It triggers you when I don't do that. And I enjoy that. It adds a certain challenge to it. Fortasius says, nei, Arch, du tar feil. Filippinene er Øst-Asias meksikanere. Jentene har rett. Din dumme norske ræv tar feil. Fri Finnmark fra samene. Witcher.
Were you just possessed by the Holy Spirit there, Arch?
We really should make Norwegian the international language so that other people can learn to speak good languages.
You're speaking in tongues, my guy.
We're summoning some old gods there.
Just because Spanish is not a real language doesn't mean that there doesn't exist proper ones out there.
You know, I will be completely honest with you. I have never actually heard anyone speak Norwegian before, so that was my first-hand experience.
Mr. Greycat, does the extended Bat family include Bat Cow? No, in the same way that it doesn't include Bat Dog, as there is a Bat Dog. I'm pretty sure there's a Bat Manatee somewhere out there somewhere. Sujad, Western comics are failing compared to manga because of the lack of autistic creators in Western comics and the popular people get into it. Witcher. That also reminds me, there's a super dog, and that's always, you know, I don't like the idea of super dog. Not around Supergirl and the other white heroes. Don't like it. Don't like it.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
when I was a kid, I did enjoy Crypto the Super Dog. That was a good show. I liked it.
Chat,
What?
They
you
have
know
dog
what to do with
versions.
that sentence.
Oh my fucking god, don't you fucking dare!
Some of you out there have animation skills.
No!
Get to it.
Stop it!
Oh, no.
No!
Poor Lumi.
Sandum. Renee, speaking of big companies taking something and watering it down is exactly what I hate. Like what Amazon did to Fallout. They changed so much when compared to OG Fallout that made it charming. Yes. Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, chat, she did do it to herself. Don't blame March. Blame Lumi. While you're hating, have you heard of the comic series Invincible? I have. Apparently they're planning like 8 seasons of the damn show.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the first season, sort of, but it feels like a fairly basic bitch evil Superman story. And the second season felt like it didn't really know what it was doing and kind of dragged. I'm not as big as fan as everybody else seems to be. And that's all there is. It's just a bad television show. Everybody agrees. Good. And Mark to shame. Dev not here. Got a question on socialist philosophy for you then. Is it better to have individual rewards and collective punishment, or collective rewards and individual punishments? Why can't we have collective rewards and collective punishments? Have to choose one though. It would be superior to have collective rewards and individual punishments. Because at the very least then, you maximize privilege and happiness, I suppose. It's going to be easily abused, but so are both. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's more motivating.
Mm-hmm.
See, the Germans developed this idea during their occupation of German East Asia. They invented something called the whipping day, where they would take a random African civilian, a criminal if they had one, but it didn't have to be a criminal, and they would whip him in the public square. And they would do this every week. It sent a strong message to the rest of the population.
German East Asia? What?
Oh yeah.
When did that happen?
Asia, Africa. Although there was a German East Asia as well. The German East Asia Squadron, based out of what was it? Jinzhou, which they leased from China. Jiaozhou, Jinzhou. Oh. So I was almost correct.
I thought it was just the Japanese in China and messing everything up. Oh, they were terrible.
The Germans had a couple of dumb little colonies in East Asia, which was after the war given to the Japanese.
Okay. Oh, Qingdao. Chaz says Qingdao. Okay.
See, you speak made-up language. I don't.
No. I speak, I do not speak made-up language. Though it is unfortunately known as commie language now. The commie tongue. Damn you, the mainland!
Serathis, a regular reminder that Cells at Work is a rip-off of the French cartoon Once Upon a Time, The Body. Let me Google that.
Interesting.
Oh,
So everybody's
yeah, no.
making... Everyone's making interesting educational comics but us.
I remember this one. I watched this as a child. It was actually really, really cool, because they had, like, warfare in there, basically, where they were fighting against germs and stuff, and they were, like, big season finales where they were mass invaded by, like, germs and stuff, and they had to explain how the white blood cells fought back against it, and how they adapted and learned and stuff. It was really, really, really cool.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a very nice little educational series. Cool. It has a very gay French name. L'État une fois la vie. That's terrible. I hate it. I don't like French. German is a man's language. French is a woman's language. Simple as. Marksman 117B, NTR Hero is unironically a good manga. Well, there you go. Okay, now I have to Google NTR Hero. And I just get the Indian dude whose name is also NTR, which always confuses me a lot.
Jesus.
Lucian, singular point made me shed a few tears for Tor Arabot. Singular point. Google? Oh, Godzilla. I didn't watch that one, I don't think. Singular point. Dai Kaiju Gamer, Lord Olympus comes to mind as a decent story. I don't know that one either. Damn.
That's a big webtoon series.
A webtoon series, okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't been adapted yet for how big as it is. It's like Solo Leveling got adapted. But I'm surprised that Lore Olympus hasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day it too can be ruined by the modern media. We can but hope. Sol on the Lich says, Italian fans just wanted Lumi's feet pic, but the fish said no. Charge the Californian tortilla with manslaughter.
No!
Why is everyone asking for Lumi's feet pics?
I have a tail. I don't have feet. Oh, Lore Olympus. Okay. I've been hearing so much sketchy shit about that series. It's like I was thinking it was something else. Popular. I've been hearing a lot of controversial shit about this series.
Really?
Excuse me.
See, this is what we do on this channel, too. We give co-hosts nicknames, like Dev is communist. My previous co-host was the ANCAP anti-vax cat trap. And Lumi's thing is feet.
All right. Yeah,
No!
I understand now. Aw.
This is the power that comes with a large audience. You can enforce your reality upon other people.
The power must be great.
Marked ashamed? Okay, chat GPT, write me a story and lore bits on female Astartes primarius marines. Heresy is hilarious. That is probably what Amazon is doing right now. And Akaitski, anti-dev shekels for you, Barch. Did you know there's a new power word on the streets? Simply say Lunduk and comics explode. See, Lunduk and gnome. I think I've heard about gnome, but not Lunduk. So, John, I preferred Once Upon a Time Life to Cells at Work. Witcher, Once Upon a Time Cells. You're referencing ancient stuff, because I don't remember this ancient stuff. You're lucky I understood the first reference. And then YouTube scrolls. I wish it wouldn't do that. Chicken Brown said, hey Arch, who is your favorite heroine from Muv-Luv? Mine is Marimo-chan. She used to say, sweetheart, I could just eat her up. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Yes, she was eaten alive in that VN, because it was pretty horror-focused in large parts, actually. Muv-Luv. What was... Name with big... Oh, name. Girl with big blue hair. Muv-Luv characters. It has been a long time. And the internet is not helping me. Either of you read Muv-Luv, incidentally?
No, I never even heard of it.
Mitsurugi Meiya, that's my favorite. It is a old visual novel from like the early 2000s, I want to say. It is one of the best visual novels ever written. Like, it has the highest rating on like Visual Novel Database, and it is a genuinely excellent series that does the subversion of expectation thing well. And it you know, more often than not, subversion of expectation is just a little bit of thing, then they subvert your expectations, like, haha, we got you. Muv-Luv subverts your expectations with an entire game, before then hitting you with the secret actual game once you've beaten the fake game.
Oh. Interesting.
They commit to the bit.
Yeah, that sounds impressive.
Alex Adamson, the day to watch Girls und Panzer is every day. Yes. I just wish it wouldn't take them 3 years to produce the movies. Zero, it's great here in the UK. Why do you doubt? Oh, I don't know. The fires, perhaps.
Probably all the Muslims with axes and stuff chasing people down.
Yeah, the UK is heading towards another civil war. It'll be fun for them, I'm sure. Cromwell Part 2. The Cromwell movie was rather excellent. See, Cromwell's a funny character. He doesn't want to kill the king, and he tries not to kill the king, but at the end he has to kill the king. And he's sad about it. It's like, I didn't want to kill the king, but here I am. Gigathwin, question. Arch, have you agreed to rent your home's garden shed to Discordia yet? No, she'll have to live in the drafty cellar, if anything. I can charge her extra for pillows and blankets. Kurt Irvig, Arch, how come you haven't talked about Kirsche drama document? Dev is your super chat lol cow, after all. Because Arch has seen 2 women arguing, and Arch has no interest in becoming the 3rd woman. Doman, I think Lumi should join Arch in COH3. Fun sessions. I think I would kill Lumi.
I don't even know what that is. So
That'll
probably
be the reason for the assaults. Little Lum Lum is still more or less a normie gamer. Like, she's going to need a lot of special education and grooming before we can bring her into stuff like that.
Oh yes, screw me more.
What was that wheeze?
So that was a confused laugh. Pardon me.
Don't worry, chat. We'll try to undergo some sort of I don't know. Barotrauma will be a good initial grooming game. You can bring along your boyfriend too, and he can take care of you.
Okay.
As the male, I'm sure he'll be making sure that you're always wearing your wetsuit for when the submarine explodes and the monster starts coming in.
Just like, stop it! No! Fuck! I'm never talking about my childhood interests ever again. Fuck you guys.
Ah. I see. Lumi wouldn't want the monsters to stay out in the dark. Lumi would want the monsters to come inside. I see.
No!
Right, well, chat. Just be glad your imagination is not as active as mine. That's all I'll say. Torgo the White says, Locals is the based version of Patreon. So I have heard. I'll check it out someday. Reverend Norse Pepperbox TV is a gathering of US gun tubers and veterans fed up with YouTube censorship. They do stuff like comedy, history, guns, and uncensored podcasts. That is probably a good idea for them, yes, because YouTube does not like gun-related content at all.
Nope, they don't.
Mark Shame. Kamala Harris needs money from you. Neil Mohan wants you to know you can donate to her campaign through Act Blue, the same that certain guy used. God, I swear to heavens, if Kamala Harris somehow wins. Well, it'll be interesting days, if nothing else.
Banish the thought. I don't even know what's gonna happen. We live in interesting times, everyone.
We do indeed. Karafan Fraza, regarding Renee mentioning the DC character Punchline as a kind of standalone Asian Harley Quinn, there is another thing comics do today. They hire good artists to make the characters hot on the comic's cover, but the art in the book then is man-jaw trash. I have seen that, where you like how you have a variant cover, and it looks nothing like the art inside, and you're like, wow, I have been tricked.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah, that's why I insist on doing covers. I mean, I have guest covers, but I will draw my own covers. It's essentially false advertising. Which the punchline that I read was from Jimenez, Jorge Jimenez, is that his name? He's a really good interior artist, but they do on a lot of series have really good cover artists, and the interior art is very amateur. Because clearly, Marvel and DC couldn't afford the best.
They could not. Not ashamed. Amazon should just do a Meta Baron series. It fits with all their restrictions, and Henry Cavill can have his shirt off and still be lore accurate. I have no idea what that is.
Oh, Meta Barons, yeah. That's a French comic, isn't it? That's also bande dessinées, which I can't pronounce.
What was the Jesus, I think I mentioned this the first time we talked, Renee, that your art style reminded me of some other comic about wolves and elves. What the hell was that one called?
I don't remember. I've had people mention, yeah, Meta Barons, yeah, that's this French sci-fi fantasy. Looks really good. Maybe it was ElfQuest?
ElfQuest,
a lot of people
that was
have
it,
told
yes.
me. Right, yeah. Yeah, ElfQuest it's really good, but funny enough, I did not read it growing up. I didn't read it till people told me I drew like it, like Wendy Pini. But it is a really good series.
It's not like that. It's, how do I put it? It's not even like the draw style, although it is sort of, kind of, like, in a way, similar, but it's honestly more the feel of it. It feels more old school fantastical, you know? It feels like how do I put it? like ElfQuest, when you see their art, it feels like there's a universe behind it. And that's the feeling I get when I see your art too about Fiendish. It feels like this is something that exists, that there is a substance to it, rather than just a drawing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that sense from ElfQuest. I'm glad that Fiendish feels that way to you too. I'm really big on world building, and I think that's what a lot of fantasy nowadays is missing. It's everything is a Tolkien ripoff. Everybody wants to be Tolkien, but like none of us are Tolkien. What's important is creating your own world and something that is believable on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, like, there are ways to do interesting things with, like, established tropes. And we used to do this a lot more back in the day. Like, ElfQuest is a beautiful example of this, because elves are kind of characterized as very effete, very, very twinky, and not very cool often. Whereas in ElfQuest, you've got elves with sharp canines, riding teeth, fighting with swords, and killing dudes. Like, okay, that's an interesting take.
Yeah. It has its own take on elves and these fantasy tropes and characters and species.
Yeah. Because originality is, well, it's not a complete myth, but it's close to one. Pretty much everything has already been done in some way or form in the 5,000 pieces of entertainment produced every day out there, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some way to take all of those little ingredients and combine them together in new and interesting ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're correct. There's nothing completely original under the sun, because nobody creates in a vacuum. We're all influenced by what we've contacted in the real world and other works. But if you can put together all these different puzzle pieces that you've gathered from other media and your own influences, and what's original is the message of the story that I was talking about. I think that's the most original thing a creator can add, knowing what you're saying with your story, and that's where the themes and what people call this ambiguous general feel of a work is. And I think if you can combine all your influences with actually saying something and having a message, that is a successful creation that can feel original.
Yep.
It's hard,
There's always the difficult thing about that feel, as you say, because it's an extraordinarily ephemeral thing, and it's basically impossible to design. But once you see it, you also know it.
Yeah. It is very hard to. It's impossible to define. I guess, but I think it's really something that just comes from being very dedicated towards creation and understanding us, just working so hard on something and building a world with such dedication that you understand it. And it's a very is ethereal the right word? I don't know English, but you can't. The wrong way to go about it is by making cheap adaptations and hiring activists instead of real creators.
Absolutely. Marked a shame, there used to be a bunch of European adult comics. I think most of them came from French artists. The French being pervy. What else is new? Imagine if we'd just allowed the Germans to have France. It would have been much more... interesting. Yes.
Oh no.
Animate acumen. Hell, what I miss. Things. Many things. Lumia's told her a lot about her sexual history. A bit more than I wanted, frankly.
No!
And then we've talked about some DC comic heroes, too. You know, as an ancillary topic to that.
Arch was also possessed by the good lord and was speaking in tongues.
Weird. Show her 40k art. Something badass. Let's see. I've got to do one of the old artworks then. There we go. So my chat will, of course, know this one, but I'll show this to you, Rennie. This is one of the initial Sisters of Battle artworks that... This is one of the things that defined the feel of 40K, as it's a picture that says so much without any usage of words, and it just paints the picture of this kind of horrible yet also sadistically cool universe.
Yeah, I mean, just the art and the universe has 40K has that feel to it, and it's very alluring. I'm afraid of getting into it because I'll just become obsessed, and I I already have too many distractions. But this looks so cool. It feels like there's a world behind it. There's a story that's being told in one image. That's so awesome, man.
It is, but don't worry. Current year art is way worse, so yay.
Aww. Does she have skulls as boob shields? That's
She does.
great. I love this.
Jonathan Smith says, Dune movies destroyed Paul's character. He's supposed to be caught between doing what will save humanity and the cost too high for him. His son chooses what saves humanity and kills billions. Yeah, it's like... A big part of the problem in the recent Dune movies is that Paul doesn't feel like he's having a whole lot of agency. He feels like he's getting dragged around a lot by his mother, and that is something that happened in the books too, but ultimately he did make the decision, whereas he feels buffeted by events around him too much in the Dune movies. He needed to be more assertive, more Paul.
I can agree with that, yeah.
The Night Clerk, Pepperbox is the gun tubers getting together before YouTube yeets them all in the near future. Probably, yes. John McCalla, quickly cooking quesadilla. Quincy quietly quipped Quentin on quintessential quesadilla qualities.
What?
Quesadilla?
Yeah, quesadilla.
Quesadilla.
Tick tick boom, here's a tip for not inflicting the butter golem on us. Butter golem, that's a good one. Gabriel Nantea, head pats for one more dev-free week. Paul did not really want the jihad as he felt trapped in it. Witcher. Hopefully we can get dev back soon too. Devaroodle's been away for too long. Sujad, for superheroes, I cannot recommend the web series Worm enough. A grim and gritty setting with lots of really interesting and a wide variety of powers. I have been told to read that on multiple occasions, and then I see how long it is, and I'm like, nope, don't have time. Tick tick boom. Marvel somehow made Sydney Sweeney look frumpy. Unforgivable.
Yep,
I suppose.
that is a achievement.
Jerome Morgan, noir furry, just like that Batman show. To be fair, Blackside is a lot better than that Batman show.
Yeah. What Batman show was noir furry? What?
Caped Crusader. It tries to be noir. It really isn't.
Oh, yeah. No, Blackside is really good. Furry or not, I don't care. You should read it.
Yeah, it's enormously furry. It's probably some of the most furry entertainment in the whole universe, but it is good.
It is good, yes.
Oh my fucking god! I was just sent the most cursed shit. What the fuck? Oh, look at this.
What happened?
Because of course it's Japanese too.
Indie VTuber group Milk Factory announces merch of their Talon's breast milk to be sold at Comiket. Merchandise includes warm breast milk. Immediately after pumping, and a keychain containing fresh eggs immediately after ovulation. Well, that's certainly something.
I don't understand. How does that work? You don't just permanently have breast. You know what? I'm not gonna ask questions. Nope.
Let's
Let's not get it.
with medications, you can. Archie, you can thank Rage for that.
With acrylic
Yeah, I
chibi
learned.
tag for identification and a proof of collection. See, that would be one of those funny things, you know, you're rooting through your grandparents' trash and, you know, our generation found like a Luger and a little Nazi flag and wondered what side grandpa was on. This generation is going to root through it and find a little box of some woman's fresh eggs with a chibi on it. Like, wow, what the oh well.
And we thought bathwater was bad. Oh, the modern
Bathwater
age.
isn't shit compared to fresh breast milk, apparently.
That was tame, and I never thought I would say that.
It's like, okay, the bathwater was a biological hazard, but this is fine. Freshly ovulated eggs and breast milk.
Like,
I mean,
how do you get the eggs? What?
That's
They
actually
probably
a
went
good
to the
question.
doctor.
How would you
probably
get
went to
the
the doctor.
eggs? Like, surely that's that must be an invasive procedure, right?
It is a bit of a procedure, yes. Because I don't know how you can, like, unless the woman is like hovering over like a bucket the entire period process and then they look for the eggs. I don't know. And plus, it's only one egg per period. So
Yeah, it's a cell.
yeah.
One single cell.
Well,
I don't understand.
there we go. You know, the breast milk part was weird, but hey, the second part was worse. So I'll give the breast milk one a pass, I guess. There you go.
Thank you, Japan.
The breast milk is fine, but the eggs is crossing the line for me.
Yeah. Like, I can imagine uses for the breast milk. You could cook with it and make weird bakeries. You could put it in your coffee, etc. Milk has many uses, but eggs?
I mean, you know that there is, I think it's in, of course, California. There's like an ice cream shop or something that makes ice cream from women's breast milk.
Well, there you go. See, milk has
Of
many
course,
uses.
that's in California.
I mean, it has a lot of vitamins that you can't get like via supplements, which, you know, is understandable, but it's still weird.
All right.
I am conflicted between saying, hey, as long as they're making money, and wow, this is real. We are in the end times.
How to make ice cream from breast milk. 3 simple recipes. Oh, good. Simple recipes. Breast milk ice cream, a hit at a London store. I feel like, yeah, that was in 2011. I don't think this is halal enough to be sold anymore.
I mean, it functions like
so
regular
confused.
milk.
Yo, what is wrong with good old-fashioned cow milk that is not human?
Well, it doesn't have the connotations, I guess.
I mean, with how society's treating women, like 100% all natural woman breast milk is going to be a commodity in the future.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you want man milk or do you want 100% real women milk?
Oh my god.
We are going into a rabbit hole today for some reason. Oh well.
I'm moving into the mountains, into my bunker. Goodbye.
You know, somehow I think this is worse than the butt babies, because I am actually fighting the urge to hurl just a little bit. Like, there's something mildly repulsive about the idea of breast milk ice cream. I'm not sure what. It's just,
The butt babies are worse.
I disagree. I think this is worse than the butt babies. I actually think this is worse.
I have no words.
Wait, is this vegan approved? I don't know. Ask the vegans.
Good question. This is what happens when people don't have real problems, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I would definitely qualify this as a real problem.
Well, they make their own problems because they too many idle minds and degeneracy.
Apparently, you can order the female breast milk ice cream with a side of cookies. And you get a little sippy cup, too, where you can keep your drink in.
What? It's like there's a difference between this and like, there is not a single woman that I've met that had a child that didn't try their own breast milk because it's like, oh, this came out of me, huh? Wonder what it tastes like. It's weird. It's weirdly sweet in a way. It's like, I don't know. It's like I can understand the appeal for ice cream, but it's still weird.
I'm judging you right now,
more
Lumi. I'm judging you aggressively.
Hey, if any woman says they have not tried their own breast milk, they're lying to you.
Judging. Continuing to judge.
Hey, it's better than Amaranth and her vaginal yeast beer.
That's pretty bad too.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. The weird thing is more, it's like the whole surrogacy thing now, where everything is commodified. Female reproduction is, it's everything about being a woman is to be frowned upon unless it's commodified. That's what's weird about it, besides from it just being gross, drinking someone else's breast milk as an adult. It's, yeah. That's just very strange as a cultural trend, isn't it?
It's like I can understand why. I think it's in England that fucking surrogates are illegal because it's classified as human trafficking, which I can see why. I get it, especially with like how many news articles I've been seeing of gay couple going through surrogate arrested for abusing their child or whatever. And it's like, okay, I am understanding the UK at this point. I think we should get rid of it.
I can agree with that. I didn't used to have a problem with it, but understanding the process more, and I have, and knowing people who have had children. I don't have kids yet, but it just the idea of bearing a child and having to give it up. This isn't a commodity. There's a bond there. It's just very anti-human. I agree. It's essentially human trafficking. You're selling a child. It's wrong. Adoption exists.
Yeah. Just a lot of people don't want to adopt. But even it's like, okay, I even seen where this white couple adopted, I think 3 black children from like orphanages. And people were giving them shit saying, "Oh, white people shouldn't be raising black babies." It's like why are they there?
No,
It's
fuck
like, do you want
that.
people to adopt or not?
Yeah, adoption is great. It's great that adoption is not a universal thing either. For example, in Asia, it's at least in Chinese culture, but I think in Asia, adoption is just not a thing because your children should be your own blood. Like bloodlines are much, much more important in Asia, and it's honestly, I think it's really great that in the West you have adoption. So people having an issue with, oh no, you can't adopt children of a different race, or they're somehow wrong. This is a good thing. You're giving them a home and a family when they didn't have one. Like what would you have? You'd rather have orphanages?
Whatever prevents us from having breast milk ice cream, that's the solution. That's what I want. Actually, okay, so Chan is saying this is very Weimar. It is. Okay, so this is a thing that a lot of people don't know. Weimar Germany was unfathomably perverse. Like, think about the worst excess, the worst shit you can imagine. You are not close to Weimar Germany. We can't... There was a... Oh god, I cannot show this on YouTube, so I'm just gonna curse the two of you with it instead.
Oh.
A popular art form was, like, mutilated women bodies often with people having sex with the corpses and bestiality. Like, this was popular art at that point. It was viewed as entirely socially acceptable to, like, alcohol was viewed as a weak drug, and then you would go on to meth and cocaine, etc. Like, cocaine was something you took, midday. You started out with alcohol as a easy way to get off the ground, and then you'd keep going from there.
Mm-hmm.
This was a large part of why the Nazis came to power, because the Nazis looked at this and went, "That's fucking disgusting."
Yeah, the pendulum will swing the other way. I do think we're essentially in a Weimar period, but with modern technology.
I think one of the most retarded things, most ridiculous things I heard was that there was a thought of combining pleasures. So there was and this will work on nicely with the breast milk ice cream, I guess, where you would have a duck, you would have sex with the duck, because of course you would. Then you would cook the duck and eat the duck. that was considered a delicacy.
Oh, flooded again.
And now that we have delivered a history lesson,
things I didn't need to know.
Sujad, Infinity 8 is an interesting French sci-fi comic. Issue 2 has had them finding Hitler and the Nazis are viewed as progressives because of the time between World War II and the year the comic is set in. Well, yes, the Nazis would have defined themselves today as progressives, as socialists, in fact.
Yeah, there is, I am not sure the Nazis qualify as right-wing, because I'm sure in the time period they saw themselves as, we're progressing towards what's right, this is progress.
Oh yeah, they were socialists. They were arguing with the other socialists, basically divided into international and nationalist socialists, about which one were the true socialists. Like, they were quite aware that they were both trying to be the same thing. They were just trying to purity spiral one another into being the most socialist.
Yeah, technically all big government ideologies are left. So, the Nazis are a strand of socialism, and communism is also socialism. It's all authoritarianism.
Mercenary X21, Razor Fist loves Black Sad and the video game. Laxadaisy, I backed it. It can be so dark at times with the gangsters. I've seen it, but much like Has Been Hotel, I'm probably going to sit on it until it's been running for a few years so that I can actually enjoy a bit of it, because I hate finding something, really enjoying it, and then going like, oh, this creator makes one episode every 6 months. Like, oh, okay. I'll wait a bit then.
I mean, with Has Been Hotel, we're guaranteed 3 seasons.
And hey, they kind of deserved it. I think it was a decent, little anime thingy. It had a weird plot. I think the story didn't make a whole lot of sense here and there. They did some dumb stuff. But it had enough charm to the point where I could enjoy watching it despite the idiocy, so I'm happy to see more of it.
I personally like the pilot on YouTube better than the actual show. I did watch some of it, and then I don't like it personally.
Lum, are you disagreeing with me?
Yes, I am.
Then she says yes too. God damn it.
What am I supposed to say? No, Arch, I'm not.
Yes, I kind of like that. That's a good answer. Why did 666 says, I for one appreciate the lack of women on this podcast. And by women, I mean Dev. We'll pay to keep that up.
Oh.
Poor Dev. Zero, Arch speaks in Norwegian. Bless you. I don't understand why you don't get the superior language. It is a simple language. Clearly defined words, good sentence structure. It's a good word. Good language.
The Nordic languages sound really cool. I mean, clearly I am biased in case you can't tell. my fantasy comic that is like a ripping off a bunch of Nordic stuff. But it sounds cool. I would learn some of the Scandinavian languages, but they're hard.
They are difficult. The Scandinavian languages are amongst some of the hardest in the world, mostly because we speak with a particular rhythm that you often don't see in many other languages. Like, there's a lot of pitch changes in Norwegian.
Interesting. Well, is it slightly tonal, would you say?
Yeah, to a degree. Like, we, the variety in pitch is fairly significant, like to the point where I speak English with a darker accent than I speak Norwegian, for example.
Interesting. Well, Chinese is also tonal, so maybe I could pick it up. It's just the grammar is so different. It's interesting because German is wildly easy to learn for an English speaker because it's all Germanic, and the Nordic languages are also Germanic, but it diverged way long ago, so it's quite hard to get a grasp of.
It's also because Norwegian in particular was rewritten significantly after we managed to break away from the Danish. So we based it a little bit off Danish, a little bit of Old Norse, and a little bit of New Norwegian, which is another language we kind of invented based on Old Norse as well. So it's kind of like a bastard child of Germanic, a little bit of English, a little bit of Old Norse, etc.
Is that what they call? Is it? I'm gonna butcher it. Nynorsk. Nynorsk.
Yes, that's the other one. The main one is bokmål.
Oh, cool. All right.
And Stefan West says, Arch, tell them about how a Danish prince restored the Norwegian royal house. Well, we had to import royalty because we'd gotten rid of all of our own way back in the day because oh God, no way, it was such a missed opportunity. We were on the verge of becoming a significant power. We had the largest naval trade fleet in the world. We'd practically deforested our country, building an enormous merchant fleet. And then the Black Plague came along and fucking wiped us the shit out. We were one of the countries that suffered the worst from the Black Plague in the world. Something like 3/4 of our population died. It was ridiculous. So we were then surrounded by the Danes and the Swedish, just looking at us like, well, you gonna resist? No. And so we became part of Denmark, and then Denmark and Sweden argued over who got custody right over us for the next 100 years or so.
Aww.
Until eventually we rebelled. But it took us a very long time. And then we had to import our new royal house from a Danish family that does have some lineage to the old Norwegians, so, I had said something. And we wanted a king, and we were like, that'll be cool. We had a king once, we want one again. Besides, republics are gay and weird. And
did you abolish your monarchy?
Oh, no, we didn't abolish it. We entered into a dual monarchy with first Denmark and then Sweden.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so we didn't really have a king. We had their king, basically.
Right. Huh.
Don't worry, Boog. Soon someone will probably make a furry My Academia parody.
I'm shocked it hasn't already been done.
Yeah.
Both the women come onto the exact same thought.
I mean, Rule 34.
And Boguslav, Archer's least favorite time, Brusilov som Verdun. Favorite time, Brusilov som Verdun? Verdun, I'd guess. Verdun really sucked. Tarantine Arch, you have to be careful. You know that Rule 34 artists are the only thing faster than light. I do have several artists on payroll, but I feel like it might be construed as harassment if I was to actually commission a Lumi X Superdog. That'll bite me Might be a bit much even by my standards.
Aww.
Plus,
I really don't give a shit, honestly.
If I gave that commission to White, he would look weird at me for a very long time.
My fan art rules are yes. The only no is vor and scat.
But what about war and scat?
Yeah.
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 Technically, I think that's a third fetish. Unbirth.
Yeah, I was about to say that's unbirthing.
Nightmare, I do miss Dev. The show needs a heel to crap on. And BRB, firing up stable diffusion for Lumi X Crypto. Oh, God.
Taste!
Marksman of 117B, NTR Hero is the manga cover you shared earlier. Oh. I'll have to go look for it. Akaitsuki has fish taco and the guest scene Yojo Senki.
No.
Nope.
It's pretty cool. It's the idea of a dude from the modern age, an abusive, like, bureaucrat, I guess, dies when one of his subordinate pushes him in front of a train. God then comes along and goes like, hello there, I'm God. And he's like, no, you're not. I don't believe in God. Like, but I'm God. No, you're being X or something. And that pisses God off. And I was like, I'm going to rebirth you in a place where you're going to have to believe in me. And so he reincarnates him as a 8-year-old girl with magical superpowers in World War II Germany.
The crazy looking little girl.
Yes.
Seen what was it? There was a show that just got greenlit. It's like Tanya the Evil, but instead of a lolly war criminal, it's a Shota war criminal in World War II.
I feel like that's just a straight downgrade, though. Lolly, obviously superior.
I prefer Shotas a bit more, to be honest. Plus, the Shota enjoyers are less infuriating than the lolly enjoyers.
Listen, the Shota enjoyers are oppressed, and for good reason. We should continue to oppress them, with violence if necessary.
I mean, we're eating well with the Seventh Prince anime and Black Butler. And I think there's one with a samurai, if I remember correctly. I still need to look into it.
All fetishes that are not mine are deviant, chat, and that is the rules we shall live by. Viking Barbie says, Shadarch, Hanon Kroned. Earlier you spoke about every comic becoming too edgy or dark, but the problem is that many go super happy friendly My Little Pony Friendship is Magic too, like Warcraft, no war. Well, I think the problem there is that they go progressive, not happy friendly, because the thing with My Little Pony, which I have now actually watched in its entirety, is it's a surprisingly serious show for a lot of it. Like, it deals with, like, the end of the world style shit quite frequently, but it also deals with one of the little dumbass ponies losing their fucking hanky or whatever. And that's kind of what I'm referring to with the idea of scope and scale. You should have a story universe that allows for an end of the world scenario, and Rarity needing to go find jewels for her fucking dress. Like, both of those should exist in the same universe, and both of those should be entertaining. And Nightmare, Lumi, shall we commission Renee for crypto instead? I must you heard both of them.
Man,
Cruelty.
that
I
rifle
am
there looks
not
really
drawing
nice.
that. My apologies, I am not drawing.
Oh, that's completely fine. It's like I have other commission ideas for you
Yes.
when you open them up again. I do have a like a pure monster girl form for Lumi that I am currently getting designed that I would absolutely love to see in your art style.
Okay, I thought they were asking about the porn thing.
I'm sure
no,
I'm
but
sure they are, but no. I'm gonna get good art.
But other than that, I'm happy to take commissions. Thank you.
Alex Adamson, Movlo playthrough. You know you want to. No, it'd be far too much reading. I hate reading.
Yeah, we all know Arch can't read.
Lumi,
Yes.
I'm reading Superchats right now.
I'm sure you have a text-to-speech earpiece.
Like, I object to the lazy nature of this unprovoked attack.
You have a TTS saying shit in your ear. You're just reading it off like Biden.
To be fair, whoever's talking in his headset is far more creative. He's like, Biden.
How much Monster Girl ratio are we talking about? 70-30.
Board the Russian aircraft, Biden. Biden, you want to go to Russia, Biden? I really enjoyed that one where the hostages from Russia walk off. Biden is like, starts walking on the plane. Oh, that was brilliant. Doman, Lumi, would you risk it for a biscuit?
If this is in context to the fucking super dog thing, no!
It is not, but that is all the context I will give you. Koenig Druge, it will never happen, but Cavill as Cyphers Kane. Oh yeah, no, that would be brilliant. Particularly the long training scene when he's on the way to the Orc world, where he spends like 6 months in a tiny capsule, bare-chested, doing his sword practices for 6 months, sweat dripping down on the floor. There you go. 40k for the female audience. Zero, hopefully I'll finish my novel before UK Civil War. Well, you better hurry.
Yeah, seems like they're already there.
Split second magician, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. You can't tongue twister me when I'm expecting it. You need to add in V's there. It's the V's that trip me off. Up.
See, look at the text-to-speech is failing him.
Blaze Stone, money for the Dev Stays Away Fund. Also, Hail Arch, hi Fash Lady? I mean, sort of, I guess. Fish Lady, and loved this Archcast. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sujard, Worm audiobooks are available to listen to. 40k Starship art is the best. I really wish there was more Battlefield Gothic art. Witcher. Me too. Raging Bull, so Lumi, when are we getting pure 100% certified fish milk?
Rage.
Oh god.
No. Be gone, Shekel Shaker.
Why you hating? Damn you, fish woman, on the milk I was eating. You'll never look at the milk carton the same way again. Zero Firewater, if Germany is man language and French is the gay one, what's American English? Disappointing child, I guess?
No! We're the honky rebel children!
Yeah.
Like I said,
I mean, I guess that is...
No, it's not disappointing if we won.
Zero Firewater, California foot tuber needs more law. Oh.
I'm not from California. I'm from the Midwest. But
Poor Lumi.
And marked ashamed again, Metabaron is a gothic space opera that has plenty of gore Lumi likes and plenty of perv Kibbs likes, but no communism for Dev. That's tragic. Tick Tick Boom, did we nuke Japan too much or not enough? Just right, I'd say. They've produced some fine entertainment. You know, a couple more nukes and we might be getting breast milk out of them too, so...
Oh dear. Well, what happened to California then? They're all messed up all on their own.
It's truly, I mean, you are all messed up all on your own. Something in the groundwater.
I'm not California.
Sujard, diabetic piss whiskey exists. There are articles of women creating bread from you know what, and I am glad Dev is not on the show. Witcher.
Oh, I seen on the Communist Spy app TikTok that a woman was making various baked goods with her vaginal yeast, and apparently she had a yeast infection that affected her tongue, and she got like all this white shit in her mouth because of it.
Oh.
And then she was like, "Oh, that must have been a fluke. I'm gonna try again," and then she got it again.
I'm gonna have nightmares about this.
Is getting hate mail after trying to bake bread with vaginal yeast. That sounds like society is trying to correct itself.
Good! Certain things people should be judged for.
Yes.
Certain things are judgment worthy. I am no prude, but this is, we are in the end times. This should not be, it's so gross.
Yeah. See, it's like, see what happens when you let progressive women stay in the kitchen? You get this. Just put them in the basement. God.
Yeah, it is very disappointing. Like, women like this mess it up for the rest of us. I just want to be normal and sane. And now we're probably gonna, the pendulum's gonna swing and then we're gonna have no rights. Oh well. Thanks.
Women's rights was a terrible, terrible mistake.
Well, these people make it seem like a terrible mistake, so good job, crazy
Don't
leftist
worry,
woman.
Renee. You will be happy as property.
Oh no! Oh, what shall I do?
That reminds me of that. Oh, back during the Gamergate days, one of the SJWs had one of the best takes ever. It was like, they treated women like chattel. It's like, that was a good one. I like that.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
hold on.
that's
No, it
nuts.
gets the vaginal yeast lady on TikTok gets worse. It's not even just vaginal yeast. She used the actual yeast infection to make the bread. So she knew she had a yeast infection. I hate it here.
Oh, no words.
Anime Acumen, which Total War or similar game would you recommend to the uninitiated? Total War or similar game to the uninitiated. So, something basic, but with the scope of a Total War game. Probably Shogun 2, honestly, because Shogun 2 will be nice and easy for anybody to get into. Yeah, Shogun 2, I'd say. Shogun 2 is a good game. Boog, female yeast cookies. Ooh, crispy.
Boog, stop it.
Zero, can you choose the ice cream by the cup size? Oh, I hope so. I want to have little pictures of the woman that produced the milk and be delivered along with the mother's milk ice cream. Otherwise, why even bother? And Boog asks the important question, can you get chocolate ice cream from a black girl?
It's just like you get chocolate milk from brown cows.
You do.
That's how it works, yeah.
And you get like the sour milk when you shake them. Deadpool Kid, we'll need to have the Inquisition investigate this travesty. If only we had an Inquisition. Mr. Luckless, welcome to modernity where everything is for sale. Someone will eventually try to sell orphan organs for profit. Probably the Canadian government. Oh, don't worry, we're already selling orphans' organs for profit. That's already a thing we're doing. That's fine. Doman, would Asian breast milk have a lemon taste? Why would it? Oh, because yellow. Okay, now I get it. Okay, for a moment there, my racism wasn't functioning.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's what our breast
my
milk tastes like.
my racism is always working because it's genetic. You're lacking, Arch.
Clearly, like I didn't get the connection there to begin with. Tick tick boom. Weimar problems require post-Weimar solutions. That is what I fear.
We're gonna get it.
Sujad, Weimar degeneracy came from the Oy Vey people, in part, but it also came from just it became cool to just let all morality lapse. In fact, it became cool to be actively opposed to morality. Like, we began to define ourselves as in opposition to morality. And that's very rarely a good thing. Like, the morality we have has been developed over, like, 10, 20,000 years of human civilization. It probably has a couple of good points. And going against all of it as a civilizational measure is probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Deadpool Kid, you can't convince me that Slaanesh is not real. She who thirsts demands tribute. It does look that way. And Glow in the Dark, Weimar Germany sounds like a Slaanesh cult. Pretty much was. Animate Acumen, YouTube sucks. I can't simply just pick who I give subs like Twitch. Oh, it's like it's like a gacha game. You just gotta keep doing it until you hit the person you want. Yeah. Do that. Glow in the Dark, Nazis were better than pro-Weimar people. It's kind of funny in a way that Nazis were the first to clean up the mess. The deepest degeneracy requires the craziest answer.
Define the mess. I mean, that's what happens. The pendulum will swing. And I don't think people realize that. Oh, this time it'll be different. There totally won't be a blowback.
Well, to put it like this, one of the things the Nazis objected to the most was child brothels, which were frequent in Weimar Germany. And, well...
That's disgusting.
What are the progressives doing right now?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, at least when the Nazis take back over, at least we'll be healthier. We'll have lots of youth clubs and forced marching and stuff. Bright side of life, etc. Always look on the bright side of life. That song will be illegal. I don't.
Yeah, that song will be illegal, and many other things. Oh well, at least it won't have pedos.
Yeah, and if you pop out, like, I think it was 3 children, you'll get a medal from the state.
Oh wow! Well, I'll take that. Yeah, look on the bright side.
Yeah. Rewards. Harmonic Drive. Swedish is more sung than spoke in my German ear. Well, that's because Germans don't actually speak with any variety of voice. Like, a German can be shouting, and it just sounds like he's speaking normally. Animate Acumen gives 1 ArchCast membership. But did you hit the person you wanted to hit? Otherwise, you're going to have to do that again and again. Glow in the Dark. Arch admitting Norwegians were just Swede conquest. Well, Danish, actually. Then the Danes gave us to the Swedes, and then we told the Swedes to come and get us, and then the Swedes pussied out. Tatsusama. Arch handles these 2 women like a master of patience. What a gentleman. I am.
He is, yes.
To be fair, Lumi and Renee are both very good ones. Yes. They're some of the good ones. There we go.
We are. Yes.
Not like the rest of their kind, the bad ones.
Yeah.
Mr. Luckless. Unbirthing, you say? Oh, here we go.
Stop it!
You know, one of Peter Jackson's earliest films, Dead Alive, has an unbirthing scene. It's pretty gnarly. Oh, well, thank you for the information. Lumi knows. Okay, Lumi. Expand. Actually, never mind. That's a poor choice of word. Elaborate.
Expand. It's like I've seen the scene. It's been like what, 6 years since I've last seen it, so my recollection was very shot. But I'll send it to you later.
No.
You're welcome. I will.
Anime Document Isekai Shikaku, a deportation isekai. Go watch it. What? Okay, well, that does sound interesting. A deportation isekai. No longer allowed in the other... Oh, that's the guy who tries to kill himself but fails, and all of the women are like, wow, you're trying to kill yourself? That's really edgy. Let's have sex. That was a weird manga to read. That was a very weird manga to read.
There is isekai of everything. This... Wow.
Yes, and the worst part is
say.
it's got a really nice art style. I love its art style. It's just, it's so fucking weird. It's like when you come across a dude who a hentai artist with an incredible art style, like, wow, this is amazing. And then you turn the page and like just scats as far as the eye can see. Like, oh.
I don't understand why the
God.
Japanese like scat so much.
Why must you do this to me? That is a good
We
question.
nuked them too hard.
Glow in the dark. Arch uses text to speech, then regurgitates words. Benny, hey Arch, you should look up Requiem Vampire Knight. It's probably the edgiest comic book I have ever seen, but it has amazing art. As long as it doesn't have scat, I guess. Oh, that actually does kind of look neat. Reminds me of the old Conan comics, actually. I'll give that a look later.
This one! Yeah, it looks amazing. I keep on forgetting the title of this, but it's so detailed and beautiful.
Let's see if I can find that one. That one's probably YouTube friendly. That is very nice art. Animate Acumen. Need to get Arch to play the Snoot game. It's completely free. Name your price. The Snoot game? The fuck is the Snoot game? The Snoot game. Google. Snoot game.
Don't know?
The Snoot game? Oh, wait. Is this that, visual novel with the dinosaur, the anthropomorphic dinosaurs? Goodbye Volcano High. Is it that one? Alright, well, my price is very simple. Twice what Kyle was, Kyle asked to play it. There you go. Very simple. That does look very, very edgy. Deadpool Kid. Debauchery everywhere. You get a debauchery and you get a debauchery. Debauchery to everyone. That was Weimar Germany, pretty much.
And right now.
And right now. Except now it's Weimar America.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce whatever those squiggly things are. Happy Degen. Dev is not here. Here money. Here money to keep so. Here money to keep so. Sharpstick, have some money for another lack of purple woman. Bad faith dev stream. Poor dev. And Grulgar, repeal the 19th. I think that's the women's right one. Yes, repeal the 19th.
I want more than that repealed.
Let me be a stay-at-home wife. I don't want any responsibilities anymore. I don't want to work in the warehouse anymore.
I legit think the problem is it's way more than that. If you don't have any stakes in the system, you shouldn't have a say.
I will give my vote to my boyfriend. It's okay. He knows more than I do.
Lumi will become property willingly. This is an example to all women.
Women can sign up for selective service too.
Yeah, but that's involuntarily.
And
It's
should
like
we allow that? Isn't that kind of like, you know, animal abuse at that point?
How many will actually do it though? I think that would solve the problem.
I mean, did you see how many women who are like, yeah, we want equal
Whites.
equal rights for women across the board, and then as soon as whispers of a possible mandatory draft came around, they're like, you know what? I'll go back to the kitchen. I don't want to fight. I'll be a good wife. It's like, okay.
Like,
I
wanted
don't
to be
think
a
many
stay-at-home wife before.
yeah, I don't think many would actually sign up because that would be taking responsibility and having to give back to the system. So I think that would just solve a lot of problems. Service guarantee citizenship.
I think we should have a quick try of the opposite. So the Third World War is probably creeping up on us. So how about this time we have mandatory enlistment for women, and I stay at home?
Well, that would just be a disaster.
Well, no, not if everybody agrees. Everybody just sends the women to the front line.
After a long enough period of time, all the women's menstrual cycles will just sync up, and it'll be absolutely fucking horrible for everybody
It
involved.
would be horrible. Nothing would get. It would either be massively bloody and nothing, or nothing would get done.
It'd be both.
I'm sorry, men and women are
bloody and
different. We're
nothing
not
would be
made for that.
done.
You know, the only reason I am opposed to women also being included in the draft forcibly is not because, oh no, I'm scared, I don't want to take responsibility. It's just because we do a bad job. We're not made for war. Like, we would suck at it.
Wait, hold on now. Girls Front Line taught me that women can fight really well, so long as they're mostly robots, I guess.
I was about to say, those are robots.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's bullshit.
if we're gonna reduce women to the status of objects anyway, what's the difference?
See, let me be a stay-at-home wife. Goddamn, I just wanna cook, clean, and be a funny anime woman online.
But see, if the alternative is the trenches of Verdun, perhaps I want to cook and clean too. Your turn, Lumi.
I'm
True
cute.
equality.
Hashtag it's her turn. Here, have a rifle.
It's her turn. No. If you were to see my like absolute shit stats when I played Call of Duty, you would not want me. You would not want me on the front lines. Granted, I would probably be better as a sniper, but that's about it. Granted, I have no depth perception either, so we'll see how that goes.
No. Women make decent snipers. There's still things to do. If a woman wants to sign up for selective service, then they can vote.
The Soviets used female snipers. When the Germans captured them, they usually did really terrible things to them because they considered it to be an insult.
Oh, yeah, there were a lot of really good Soviet snipers, that's right, who are women.
There was one bit that... Okay, so let's go. Lumi likes the grizzly stuff, so let's throw her a bone since we've already had implied, other things with her. We'll be nice to Lumi for the last few moments.
Yay!
During the Second World War, there was a period where the Nordland division mixed. It was supposed to be the Scandinavian division of the Waffen-SS. It was mostly Estonians because there weren't enough Scandinavians actually signing up. But details. During its operations in the Soviet Union, they came across one small forested area which they were taking sniper fire from. Now, the standard procedure for dealing with snipers at the time was really simple. It was just to hit the ground, call it in, and then have the artillery deal with it. So that's exactly what they did. When the Germans then advanced through the forest thereafter, it was filled with women dangling from the trees because they had tied themselves to the treetops, and then the airburst artillery had scythed through them.
Oh, wow. Oof.
That was a traumatic view for a few people, especially from the perspective of this was from a Norwegian boy who had lied about his age, and so he was 17 at the time.
Aww.
Oh.
Well, that messed them up.
Yep. But hey, fun and game adventures on the Eastern Front.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I will stay home and be a good stay-at-home wife. I know
our problems can be very easily solved.
Johnson Smith worked in a bakery. Food safety is not what people think. There's an acceptable level of rodent feces in bread. Heat cleanses all.
I mean, I worked one restaurant job. It's like, okay, I know this. I don't think this place is outside of the U.S., but I worked in a restaurant called Cracker Barrel, and I did to-go orders, and I also did some cooking. And yeah, no, food safety is it hardly exists.
Lumi was
That's
flipping
good to know.
hamburgers as rats were fornicating on the stove.
The only perk of working there was that we got basically free food when people were like, "Oh, this is messed up," when nothing was messed up, and then all of us would just be like, "Okay, snack time."
Oh, yeah, we did that when I worked in a restaurant as well.
See, I've never worked a peasant job in my life, so this fascinates me.
Oh, you lucky,
You lucky
person.
bastard.
Yeah, I started working at 14.
Same. I
A
worked.
little bit of
I worked
child
as
labor.
a cashier. Yeah, I worked at as a cashier at a grocery store till I was about 18. Then I did my first warehouse job as soon as I turned 18. COVID happened. I had a restaurant job for about 3 months, and then I went back to warehousing. So I've been doing warehouse work for about 10 years at this point.
Oh, warehousing. That sounds like no fun.
I actually enjoy it. I am forklift certified. I load trucks. It is very nice. It's better than packing orders. And
Huh.
I'm half
Oh,
tempted to throw stickers on my forklift because I always drive the same one, but I had to get in trouble.
Ah.
So I'm gonna sticker up some truck trailers instead to advertise my YouTube.
Oh, use magnets.
Yes.
Print some magnets so you won't get in trouble on the forklift.
Yes.
They allow women to drive at Amazon? That explains a lot.
I only worked at Amazon for 2 years, and then I went to other places because Amazon fucking sucks.
I am shocked. This is my shocked face.
Zero Arch, did you see Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is coming out this year? Really? No, I did not. That's soon? Let's see. Come Deliverance 2.
Peggy 18.
2024, I see. That sounds like it'll slip to me. Like when they just say like, year, that usually means next year. Still, I'm looking forward to that. Zero Firewater. Women, when given freedom, rush desperately to be whores and push society further and further, lowering men's standards. Now all traces of femininity are looked down upon.
Man, speaking of whores, so like, okay, I showed Arch this, I think, last week. But the Harley Quinn show, or whatever, introduced Baby Doll. And I was so fucking upset. They butchered Baby Doll to pieces. She sounds like a chronic smoker that they turned her absolutely tragic character into a mockery of what she used to be. Just like with Nora Freeze.
Pretty normal. Pretty normal.
I hate it.
Gunfolk61. Arch. Tanya the Evil takes place during World War I, not World War II. They got fucking Panzer IIIs as their tanks. It's World War II. Bad. Even though it is technically in that world chronologically the first one. Marked ashamed. Minnesota demands you turn tail and run. But does Minnesota ever get listened to? Marked Ashamed decides to continue to elaborate on these topics. Worse than scat has to be cooked woman. I forgot the word and I don't want to look it up. Well, thank you for that, at least. I'm not going to look it up either.
I mean, it's like, I think that could be under the same vein as what are they called? I don't think they're called nugget women. I forget though. Basically, all limbs are all the limbs are amputated, and it's literally just a nugget.
People are into strange things.
Animate acumen stream is a great challenge for eating my dinner. I would imagine, yes. See, when Dev is here, we have intellectual discussions about socialisms. When Lumi is here, it's like butt babies.
No! You're the one that brought up butt babies. I'm the one that brought up the weird eggs.
Marked ashamed. Lumi, all you will need to do is press the button that tells the drone to drop the nuke. But we'll run out of drones real quick. Then it'll just be bayonets again.
I can't drive and I have no depth perception. That drone would run into a tree.
Didn't you just say you could drive a forklift?
Yeah, she can drive a forklift at significant hazard to her co-workers. Just
I am one of the better forklift drivers at my warehouse.
That's terrifying.
Shut up! I can't fly things. That's why I don't fly drones. I can't see up in the air. I can see in front of me, on the ground. I cannot see above me and far distances.
To be fair, warfare will probably be automated robots and androids and whatever soon anyway, so I don't have that much to worry about.
Lord Commissar Spartan says Snoot Game is a 4chan made game. It's actually quite good. You should give it a chance. Same with the spiritual sequel, I Wanna Hug That Gator. Also anti-statist fund. I don't think any of this is good. I think you're trying to trick me. That's what I think. Yeah. This all looks pretty terrible, and I stand by my price of twice whatever you gave Kyle. Mr. Luckless, we gotta get rid of at least 90% of the alphabet agencies. I'm tired of glowies just doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But think of all of the unemployed FBI agents.
Fuck them. They can go work in the mines.
Xenofirewater, the only time you really see women on the front line is if your army is desperate, or if the state is forcing everyone to participate. Look at Ukraine, where the fighting age men are dead. Well.
Yep. And now BlackRock doesn't want the Ukrainians to bury any more dead soldiers on their property. Even though, apparently BlackRock owns, what it say, 47% of Ukrainian land. And they're like, no more burying the dead, cremate them or something.
Or something.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. That's crazy.
I posted it in the link channel. I'll repost it.
Oh, this stuff is...
There you go.
Gross. Wow.
Raging Bull, bright side. If you can't vote, you can't be taxed. Well, we'll see about that.
Not true? Yeah, we'll see about that. You really think they're not gonna tax you?
You breathe, you
Just
get taxed.
have a vote.
That's
Yeah.
American air.
I highly doubt that's how it'll work. I would say if you're a net taxpayer, then you can vote, but apparently that's a low bar as well.
Landowner, at least.
Yeah.
Monsters now. Women should think of torture methods for our enemies. Witcher. There were tribes of Scythians that actually did do that. The Romans really hated the Scythians for that.
We would be really good at that. You are right.
You would. You're innately evil.
I mean,
Yeah.
I personally always wondered what would happen if you injected somebody with, what was I thinking? Like a half a cup of hydrogen peroxide and alcohol right into their veins. I'd want to see what happened.
What? Why have you been wondering this?
I don't know.
Well, the thing is, what women would come up with is psychological torture methods, which can get very creative and are the most terrible. So yeah, we would be very good at this, yes. We do have a place in the military after all.
Yeah, but slow physical torture is a lot more entertaining, in my opinion.
Combine that with psychological torture. Both at once.
Alex Adamson, there are plenty of things for women to do. Medics, drivers, water filtration, kitchen technicians, armories, and so on. You'll be fine, girls. Oh, they're not interested in any of that, as it turns out.
Nope.
And Sir John says, women drivers turn into good drivers eventually. Watch out for women turning. Witcher.
Huh?
Romy, commander of Unit 731.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Oh, God. Unit 731 was something very interesting to learn about while I was doing my my research into World War II while I was bored at work one day. I was just listening to a bunch of interviews and documentaries.
Yeah, that was the Japanese experimental camp up in Mongolia. That was messed up.
Yeah.
You guys thought the Nazis were bad. The Japanese were absolutely horrible in China.
Well, the fact that a lot of the people who worked in Unit 731 that, it didn't commit suicide and everything were recruited into the United States to learn about whatever medical findings that they documented to advance American healthcare by a lot. A lot of these people got pardoned.
The same with Nazi Germany.
Yep.
There's a reason the Chinese still hate the Japanese right now.
Yep.
Oh, there are many reasons. The current struggle of Nanking, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But there are fascinating excerpts from Unit 731. One of the best, which you can still find on the Wikipedia, describes a vivisection where it really the fellow knew that it was over for him, and so he didn't struggle when they led him into the room and tied him down. But when I picked up the scalpel, that's when he began screaming. I cut him open from chest to stomach, and he screamed terribly, and his face was all twisted in agony. He made this unimaginable sound. He was screaming so horribly, but then finally he stopped. This was all in a day's work for the surgeons, but it really left an impression on me because it was my first time.
Man, he's talking like a fucking high school girl that just lost her fucking virginity.
I love how clinical it is. It's oh, this is totally normal, but it was my first time, so it was a little bit weird.
Oh, it's my first time, I just gotta get used to it. Next time.
Next time I'll do better.
It's like they're dissecting a frog or something and not a human. That's so nuts.
Oh yeah, they did so much shit. They tested out hand grenades on prisoners. They just tossed a hand grenade into a bunch of prisoners and saw what happened to figure out shrapnel damage.
Yep.
They infected people with syphilis, with plague. They tested them for frostbite. They shot them, just hey, how much damage did this bullet do compared to this bullet, etc. I mean, hey, the rape and the forced pregnancies were those were the good days at Unit 731. At least then you were valuable for a period of time beyond tomorrow.
Yeah, but the fact that they took some of those pregnant women and just to see how they would survive or see if the fetus would survive after being exposed to the cold and everything and getting frostbite into extreme heat, various extreme conditions. It's, you know what? I might do a stream or a video talking about Unit 731 because honestly, the entire thing is horrifying but very fascinating at the same time.
Oh yeah, there are records. I remember another one where they were contemplating raping a woman because they were bored and had time to kill, as you do. And she was missing an arm that had been just rotted off from frostbite and gangrene, and they're that's fine. But when their sex organs are also oozing pus and blackening, they go fine, I guess we'll do something else.
Yeah. And it's there were some some of the people who worked in Unit 731 that actually fell in love with some of the prisoners, and I think one tried to sneak a woman that he fell in love with out, but then both of them were killed.
Of course.
Yep, it was some heavy duty shit. Some very heavy duty shit.
Yes, science. Ugh, science is so fucked up.
Caleb Knight, remember, whatever you think that extra step will be, make it gay and lame. I reject this being human nature. This degeneracy is because free masses. Yes, we need the oppressive regime to keep us in check. Squiggly Letters again says, good point, bring dev back, highbrow content. Mercenary X21, unemployed FBI agent, stop trying to convince me. Alex Adamson. Tanya the Evil is a mix of World War I and II in the 1920s, 30s era. The Western Front is trench warfare, the East is maneuver warfare. Also, £9 for The Witcher. Very well. Deadpool Kid, but I was hoping to be a gaming queer after the revolution. Get your ass back in the trenches, you foul fiends. Yes. And Caleb Knight, today we'd call Nanking a cultural enrichment. It certainly enriched Chinese culture. They built a lot of their culture on that, so frankly, they should be thanking the Japanese.
Oh, dear. Oh.
Mark to shame, come to Rumble Chat. We make fun of Dev and call him many bad names. That's mean of you. And also, Mark to shame, Lumi and Renee can practice their homunculus art on Arch. Welcome to Comrog. No.
Homunculus art?
I don't like the interested way you say that.
No, I am confused. I don't know what that is. Maybe I don't want to know. We can move on.
In 40k, there's a faction called the Dark Eldar. They have people called the homunculi. The homunculi, they carry out extreme body modifications on themselves and prisoners because, well, they're bored, mostly. Things like flaying open their own thighs so that they can feel the wind strike against their muscles, or peeling the skin off their own spines and stuff like that.
Oh. Okay. I mean, I draw some bloody stuff for, in battle scenes. I'm not averse to that for my fantasy comic, but I don't know about that. That seems like a lot. I don't know.
Sometimes you just gotta go that extra mile.
Yeah, maybe.
And a perfect super chat there at all of the very end. Zero says, Irene, don't forget to the English. Irene, okay, there it begins. Don't forget the shill your podcast. I believe that means, Rini, shill your podcast.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Zero, and Arch. Yeah, everyone can check out my channel at Rini Draws on YouTube. I have a couple of podcasts. I have a Wednesday show most Wednesdays where I promote indie comics to try and get some people seen. As we were talking about earlier, it's very, very hard to get seen if you're an indie creator in the American market. So I do a show shilling mostly crowdfunded comics with the creators, and that's Wednesday nights at 9:30 Eastern-ish. And I also do a Thursday show that's a rotating show with some friends. We talk about world building and writing and storytelling and all kinds of other good stuff. We like to talk about the craft of what we do. We're all comic creators. So that's a rotating show. It's on my channel like once a month, but you guys can find the playlist through my channel. So yeah, hope you guys can check that out. Rini Draws on YouTube. Thank you very much.
Yep, and if you click the @Rini Draws in the title, that should bring you right there, assuming YouTube is functioning today. Maybe.
Yes, it's working today.
Wonderful. Thank you, YouTube, for functioning.
And lastly, why you hating? The head of 2002 CIA torches site was a woman. And there you go. Women.
Oh,
Women
see,
were a
we are
mistake.
good at something and more. Oh dear.
And now we are through all of the super chats, so thank you everyone very much for watching. Thank you for your super generous donations, of course, as always. And thank you, Renee and Lumi, for being with me today and informing me about all of your horrible fetishes.
I mean, I can make it worse. Just wait till next week. I'll get a list together.
I only mentioned torture methods. Not so much fetishes. I contributed torture methods, and thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
And have a very good day,